this way before. Travel through the open door. Circumstances navigated the path, and life happened oh so fast. No, it got lonely. Sometimes you see, I know we couldn't make it. Even when I'm offbeat, I still land on my feet. And nothing can shake me, cause I know life took a hold on. I never. This is where I am destined to be. I'm not ready to give up. I believe in the miracle of life. Life's a play for no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games can play, can't take it personal. Cause the devil is a liar. I'm telling you the truth. It's all in what you do. See things you gotta do. It's fight for millions. Take a second, see the blessing in it. But much expected, much is given. When I made the living, now I'm giving back to children. Never let the power come first before your happiness. Yes, you can be the best if you go the distance. Mix a little sweat with your persistence. You know that the best things are never instant. Just shine up, let them see your brilliance. Get up, open up your eyes now. It's the moment of truth. No backing down. We're bringing it tonight. Oh, for the children, it's a given. You gotta give it, be a blessing.
This my personal statement. Run the game like I'm ASICs. Learn and develop patience, determined to be the greatest. Yeah, bobbing and weaving, they changing up like the seasons. Indigenous to the grind, so I do it for all my people. Jabbing in competition, rapping against the ropes. You fighting for recognition. I'm fighting just to promote equality where we lacking. While cancer slowing our road, I'm confident we'll make it. We focus on common goals. Yeah.
Give back, give love, give something away. Never give up, stand tall to fight another day. 2 toes, 2 feet, I stand on the ground. I'm going back soon and fight this final round. Life's a play for no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games get played, can't take it personal.
Cause the devil is a lie. Telling you the truth, hey. It's all in what you do, hey. Some things you gotta do, hey, 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 hey. What's up, Eric? What's up, Eric Gomes? JP, Eric, JQ. What it do? What it do? What it do? K-Dub, last night was epic. Wasn't it, Young World? What up, Duke? What up, Club 57? What it do? What it do? Malik Rain, Hotep, KJ. K Sims, man, I appreciate you. AJ, KJ coming in here early, man. Thank you. And we're going to get to this trailer, man. If you ain't bought 9 Wives yet, man, you're $5 away. Click the link. Here we go, y'all. I appreciate y'all.
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries. And can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were. Because they were there. I seen them. I seen them myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, Messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
15. Hey, 15, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming in here. I started the show early because Breadman to be here any moment whenever he gets here. I appreciate y'all coming in here, man. What a show we had, man. I told y'all this week is going to be the livest show. Man, I got to cut this heater off, man. It was cold in here when I got. Give me a second, y'all. I got to cut this heater off. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I came in here, the room was 50 degrees. You know what I mean? But I'm sitting there and the blood ain't flowing. It's heating up too quick, you know, but I appreciate y'all coming in here. Thank you, man. Last night was a hell of a show. And obviously, we want to come in here and talk about Canelo. Feel free, more than welcome to. Tank Davis and Sean Porter sparring. I spoke to somebody that was in the gym, and they said basically they didn't spar tough, but they thought that they were underwhelmed with Sean Porter's skill set. So I'll divulge all the information I got from that. But they said it was just they were just moving around and you know, I mean, they were just moving around having a good time. But you know, that's it. That's basically it, man. And you know, whatever. But they were underwhelmed with his skill set. Tank Davis walked away like, I can be a welterweight champion, basically. You know, so but anyways, man, welcome to the show, man. Canelo, we got Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford this week. When Breadman getting here, we'll obviously recap his fight and things going on at 160, 168. How's J-Rock doing, his new fighters, and all that other good stuff. You know, he's gonna elaborate in more in great detail. What's up, S. Dot? You know, I mean, I'm getting in that. See, you guys are at the genesis. Remember this day, okay? Remember this Breadman interview, and remember my next project. The reason why I am wearing this sweater all week on the show is because I'm morphing into the person that needs to create this project. You know what I mean? Like the same thing last year when I was morphing, but you guys didn't really understand what I was going through. But now you guys see it now. I'm wearing this sweater intentionally. And when the project comes out May 19th, 2022, I can't wait. I already have a party on that day. So we gonna do the release. My backyard should be done by then, and we gonna do a hell of a show. So that night's gonna be a hell of a party. But so I'm wearing this sweater because I need to take myself somewhere to create this project. The same way I physically needed to take myself to Chicago and Detroit and New York to create the 9 Wives project, I need to mentally take myself somewhere to really create this next project that I'm doing. So I'm intentionally wearing this sweater, and it's all gonna make sense to y'all when y'all see the trailer sometime in March. All right, so that's where I'm at with this. And but yeah, welcome to the show, man. It's a great day. It's a great day to love boxing, right? It's a great day to love boxing. Oh man, it's a great day to love boxing, dog. It's a great day, dog. And yeah, you know, Canelo gets to do what he wants. And people are upset about it. Why are we upset at Canelo? We were in charge once upon a time, right? Floyd Mayweather was a WBC champion once upon a time. Ray, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, he's forever on the belt. Floyd Mayweather's forever on the belt. We just allow things to happen. You know, we sit and complain, but won't make a move. Canelo is being the person he's supposed to be. If you're going to pay me $40 million, no matter who I fight, if you're going to pay me a guarantee of $40 million, no matter who I fight, and I'm not going to get any pushback from my core fan base, and I'm not going to get any pushback from no financial pushback from boxing fans all over the world, why? You know what I mean? Like, why should I fight the best, fight the best, fight the best, fight the best? Why? Y'all not going to do nothing about it? Because you're going to tweet about it. You're going to do an Instagram video about it. You're going to do a TikTok video about it. You're going to do a YouTube video about it. You're going to put something in the comment section on your favorite platform. But you're still going to pay. And that's what Steven Espinoza, what's the other guy's name? Eddie Hearn. That's what they know. You gonna pay. Because you a hoe just like these fighters. If fans stick together, we ain't no way in hell they would have replaced Rolly Romero with Isaac Cruz. Isn't the guy moving up in weight? It never would have happened. They would have replaced him with Devin Haney. And it's just gonna keep on happening and keep on happening until what? Until y'all say, you know, Fred, I think we should listen to you one time. One time for the one time. You know what I mean? And we're going to open up the phone lines till Breadman get here. Then we'll do the initial interview. And if you want to take phone calls, we'll do it like that. And open up the phone lines. I know y'all got a lot to say about Canelo. You're more than welcome to. And phone lines are, open, I think. Yeah, the phone lines are open. So feel free to call in. There we go. There we go. Now we rocking it. Oh shit, it comes up different now. Okay. So yeah, so feel free to call in. Boom. Oh shit, who this? Oh no, it ain't you. Oh, they ain't T. They ain't T. Oh, there you go, T. There you go, T. Oh, they ain't T. They ain't T. Oh, you back? What's up, man? You back?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Fred?
Hey, how you feel? Good evening.
I'm all right, man. Hey, I want to call on the topic that you done earlier, man.
Yes.
Excuse me, man. I want, cause I caught the ass end of it, man, about the Barry Hunter and Calvin Ford situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, could you break it down to me? Because I caught the end of it.
What I know is what I see. Well, what I see is what I know. And Barry Hunter's the head. Barry Hunter's the head trainer. And if Barry Hunter's the head trainer, that means Calvin Ford is not the head trainer. So Calvin Ford is going to take on another position. Or so he's been, I use the term fired. You can take it how you want it, but fired and or demoted to another position. And so Barry Hunter's in charge of this camp.
Hold. Is that for just this fight, or
I don't know moving forward? I don't know moving forward.
So I'm saying I heard you when you was talking earlier. You were saying that that the coward had something to do with that, man.
That who?
The coward, man. I call him a coward, man.
Oh, Floyd?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, like here's what I say. I said this at the top of yesterday's show. If you allow someone to assume your role, it invalidates your position. And consistently, Floyd Mayweather in Tank Davis camp has disrespected and or invalidated Calvin Ford. And obviously when a grown man sees another grown man minimized, then you know that he can't carry on that role. So I see it as such. You know, they said, oh, we need a stronger man in here. And as nice as Calvin Ford is, he should have stood up to Floyd. In my opinion. My humble opinion.
My opinion too, because he raised this guy, man. He raised this guy from what, 7, 8, 9 years old, all the way to now. He been training that man as a kid. You see what I'm saying? And for Floyd to do that, that's crazy, man. But for real, the rewind shit, Fred. I heard one time that Javante was having this camp in Vegas, and Calvin Ford then was supposed to be coming. Javante got there before them, and they were supposed to be coming on another, like a 2 or 3 days later. And Floyd was like, "Nah, you don't need them." Like, "Nah, you don't need them. I'ma train you." He was like, "Nah." So I guess they went back and forth, and they went to aisle or some shit. and Javante ended up getting Calvin Ford and them ended up coming in the camp.
Okay.
This was like some fights back, like a few, like 3 or 4. I don't know. This could have been like about a year or 2 ago. I forgot who he was fighting, but he had the camp in Vegas, and yeah, that went on, man. So that shit crazy, man. That's crazy, man. But for real, why didn't Javante step up and say something like he did the last time?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You know what I mean? Come on, man. See, I'm sorry, Fred, man. Where I'm from, I can't. Where I'm from, Fred, and I'm from the same area he is from, but I'm not from Baltimore. I'm from the DC side thing. The way we carry shit is, if you make it, man, and I can't just kick my man to the side like that, man.
Right.
And he been with me the whole time. I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe he's still on the team. We'll find out fight night. Man, I'm sure he's still on the team, but he's probably more of a.
I'm sure.
He's probably the second guy. He's probably, I say this respectfully, he's probably like holding like the ice and the water and stuff like that, and second in command.
Man.
No, it's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's disrespectful. I just don't know what.
No.
He's second trainer, second in command.
I'm not saying towards you. I'm saying for that man to come between, you know what I mean, what they had going on, man.
I mean, he's been compromised. Can another man come in your house and tell your girl what he wants for dinner?
Man,
I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend.
Prison, man.
I'm asking for a friend. You know what I mean? You gonna eat what he wants. That's basically what Floyd did to Calvin Ford, man. Like, hey, you got to go there and knock this guy out. And come to find out he was winning every round. So anyways, man, that's what it is. Man, can I get Breadman in here, man? Can you call back?
Yeah, man. Right. Appreciate you, though, Fred, man.
You know it's love. You know it's love. Tell Gary Russell I said what's up.
All the time.
All right, peace.
Yeah, man. I was trying to call in that night, man.
Man, you know it's hot. You know whenever we have a guest, it get hot in here, like my office is right now.
Yeah, that motherfucker must be smoking, man.
Oh man, the muffler's dragging, nigga.
All right, man. Go ahead.
All right, peace, King. Peace, man. Peace all the time, man. Breadman, how you doing, big dog?
What's up, Fred? How you doing, man?
Yeah, totally appreciate you, man. I love the high ceilings, man. You in a 4-story house, man. It's beautiful. Life must be good.
Come on, man. I'm downstairs, so I don't wake up my wife and kids. That's what I'm doing, man. You trying to make jokes. And everybody's sleep in my house, man.
Oh, man. Totally appreciate you coming on, man. And did you hear the news today before we jump into it? Canelo is going to move up to cruiserweight.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I think it was a chess move. I think that he's in such a powerful position, being the biggest money earner in boxing, and a lot of guys are lining up to fight him, right? And it kind of like waiting for the lottery ticket. So you have, he just got Plant, right? So you got Benavidez and Charlo on the PBC side. You have Peter Bev at 175. You got Bivol. You got Triple G. And the outside shot is Demetrius Andre, who probably won't get the fight. And then I think what he's trying to say is, I'm not going to sit around and just give everybody the lottery ticket. You guys going to have to start fighting each other to earn your ticket to fight me. Which is because, he probably would be the favorite in each fight individually. But if you fight 4 or 5 back-to-back fights like that, that'll wear you out a little bit. And somebody will have a good night on them. So I think what he's doing is he's forcing these guys to fight each other. So, he got the power to do that. So, they'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I thought he was like flexing. He's like, man, I can go anywhere I want to get 40 million. You know what I mean? Like, man, anybody gonna give it to me, and I know people are gonna be mad, but I'm like, when we got the power, I mean, we do status quo things, like I think we could have had a Floyd Mayweather championship belt by now. You know what I mean? If he had that mindset, to flip it. to really, really flip the paradigm. You know, but what do I know, man? What do I know? Saturday night, man. Saturday night, man. You 7 rounds, man. You brought in a game fighter, man, Mr. Davis, man.
That's my guy, man. I wish the blessings of matchmaking had been a little bit more kinder to that kid, man, because he can fight. When you have a blue chip fighter with a big company, what you do is you bring guys behind him. And I had Julian Williams with PBC since 2012. Karan came to me, who was 4 years younger than Julian, on the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, and I brought Karan over to PBC also. And but for whatever reason, things didn't take to Karan the way it took to Julian. And he had a tough road. He's a 60-pounder. He caught COVID last year around November, and then they called me for the Darrell fight. Like 4.5 week notice, and I'm like, damn, man. He was a little nervous, and I'm like, well, you walking around heavy anyway, because all these guys do. Everybody lies and be like, I only stay 10 pounds. I stay 10 pounds above the weight, but every fighter lies about that. Right. So I'm like, look, man, we not gonna cut these last 8 pounds. You never made over 10 grand in the fight. Let's fight this guy. And he like, all right. And Fred, I know he won that fight. I don't want to, I got a lot of respect for Darrell and his team, but Karan won that fight, man.
Sure did.
But we got the draw. He outboxed him, man. He really did. But we got the draw. And then, like, we ain't get no other calls. And then we got the fight with Martez McGregor. And I had, like freaking, 2 weeks to get him ready. I was like, damn, he was heavy. He didn't look his best. And I'm telling him, stay in the gym, and it's easy to say stay in the gym, but it's training for a fight and staying in the gym is two different things, Fred. You know what I'm saying? It's just tough. It's tougher than people realize it, the weight and all that kind of stuff. So when we got this call, another career high purse, and I'm fighting, because people are looking at me like, well, he ain't gonna win no way. And I'm like, it's not gonna be a 12 rounder. Let's make it a 10. We saving the show. To do other guys' opponent already tested positive for PEDs. Benavidez had COVID once. So you guys want this guy to be a star. Y'all want him to fight his hometown. Y'all gotta make this a 10 rounder. We coming to win. And we was grinding, man. I did as much as I could in a short period of time. I would spread the training sessions out. So I would train. We would run at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I rented out some gym space so we could train at 6 o'clock at night. So we had 12 hours to recover in between workout sessions. I was just trying to get him, as much, raise his level of condition up as much as I could in that short period of time. He was about 184 pounds when we got the call. So I had to cut 16 pounds off of him in 17 days, which was kind of tough. But, man, I was proud of him. And, I don't brag about fighters' heart and chin and stuff like that. But that kid is dead game. He's an animal. Wow. He really is, man. He is an animal. He always been like that. He just kind of go under the radar. But I know you cool with a lot of fighters. I sent him to camp with Lubin, Andre, Lara, Triple G, Broner, Crawford. He's an animal. And, he was like telling me, like, I'm all right, I'm going to catch my second win. And I'm like, man, you know what? I'm saying to myself, you gave these people enough show. I'm not, I know he don't want to get a stoppage on his record, but I'm like, man, it ain't worth going these last couple of rounds with this, because Benavidez is the real deal. That kid can fight. And, I'm like, man, it ain't worth it. You gave them their show, man, taking some shots I don't like. That's the first time in 11 years as a trainer I had to stop a fight by throwing the towel in. And it messed with me, man. It's still bothering me, like I haven't been sleeping well. But I just felt like that I didn't want to see him get hurt, go flat down, get hit with his shot. Benavidez is like a relentless, tireless kind of fighter, man. And you don't want to be in a compromised shape fighting somebody like that, and And I knew Karan was playing a little possum. What Karan was trying to do was run him into something and clip him. And I was trying to give him as much as a chance as I could, and I had a lot going through my mind. I'm not going to say the word fair because in boxing, nothing is fair, but I don't, fighting a guy like that on 2 weeks notice is tough, man. I felt bad for Karan in that aspect, but at the same time, it's a career high payday. He already had 2 losses, whether they controversial or not. He still had them on his record, and it just was a lot going through my mind, man. And I hope the guy that I made the right decision. He still thinks that he could have went on and made it the last 10 rounds, but I just didn't feel like it was worth it. I felt like he gave the people enough of a show, and that was just it. It was just time to shut it down, man. So,
Right. What's that conversation like when you
I
go through?
mean, it's at the end of the 5th round. I said, man, I can't watch you get hurt. This kid looks like my son. People talk about me and Julian's relationship, but me and Karan's relationship is, the same way. It's just me and Julian's relationship is in front of the public, So, and he's like, I'm all right. Steve, he don't hit that hard. I'm like, damn, dog. Like, all right, I'm gonna give you another round. you know. And then I'm like, Kai, you're taking some shots on leg. And then he started talking to Benavidez. I don't know if you've seen that, but he started talking to Benavidez. But what he was doing, Fred, was talking to me to let me know I'm all right. I mean, that's how we are in the gyms in Philly. Like, you start talking a little bit. So he started talking to let me know too. Like, I'm cool. I'm all right. Fred, I just felt like, man, it was good money. I'm not gonna lie. I've been blessed to be in a situation where my guys have made some good money compared to market value. But at the same time, I just felt like he gave enough. You know what I mean? He's 27 years old. We get him down to 160. We get him a fair camp against one of the guys down there, man. I just felt like he gave enough. And he was like trying to tell me that he was cool and he was okay. A lot of his friends and family came out and they was sitting right behind in the corral, right behind where we at in the ring. But man, at the end of the day, I'm the person got to make that decision. I'm the head trainer, and everybody got to live with it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. I know it's a lot of controversy behind corners throwing towels in and stuff in boxing, but that's my guy. You know what I mean? That kid, me and him have a relationship outside of boxing, and I will hope that nothing like that don't come in between me and his relationship. And I just did what my instincts told me to do, and I felt like it was getting to that point where I was like, he'll wind up getting hit with something that he might not recover from. And I just didn't like the feeling. So I just said, that's it.
Mm. Now, when you make those decisions, do you have like thoughts like, because I know you fought Patrick Day as well. Do you have thoughts of like that in your head as well?
At that time, honestly, I wasn't thinking about Patrick Day or anything like that. Patrick Day fight with Karan, I should have never brought his butt down to 154 pounds. Karan kind of like looked up to Julian. They 4 years apart. And when Julian was open class, Karan was in juniors and then amateurs, and he wanted to be a 54 pounder because Julian was a 54 pounder. And I'm like, man, y'all built differently. I shouldn't have never had him down there. That's the only fight that I really think that he legitimately lost. He just struggled with the weight in that fight. So I wasn't thinking about that. I just was thinking about like, he's taking a pounding from a big guy. We saved the show. He came in on 2 weeks notice. It was only the beginning of the 7th round. So you got 7, 8, 9, 10 in a compromised state versus a dude that been training for 10 weeks while we training for 2 weeks. And it's just not I just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? It was too much against us. And I felt like he gave everything he had to give. And, that's just what it was. It's you dealing with split seconds emotions right there at that time. You know what I mean? One shot could do a lot of damage, So I just do things by my instincts. There's no real rhyme or reason. I just didn't feel right about some of the shots that he was taking. And Benavidez hit you to the body, man. That kid was taught well. He's a really good body puncher, and body shots stick with you. You know what I mean? It's a little different from a headshot. I tell my guys all the time that when you get a good clean shot upstairs with a guy, hit him in his body, and what it does is, whenever you get hurt in any capacity in life, blood rushes to that spot, right? So if you hit a guy with a body shot after he's been hit upstairs, what it'll do is it'll confuse the blood or where it's going to rush to, and it disrupts you and it hurts you more. That's why Canelo is such a good finisher, because you notice that every time he hits you with a good shot upstairs, he always go downstairs and touch you downstairs. And Benavidez mixes his shots up real good, man, where he touch you upstairs and then he touch you back downstairs. And the head shots Karan was seeing, but them body shots, man, he was slipping them in behind Karan elbows. I didn't like how they felt, how that felt to me. And I was just like, that's it.
Right. When you look back at this, do you think, like, when they have these cancellations and fights, that they hold the news to create the greatest advantage for the person that they want to win? So, for example, do you think that 4 weeks ago, before the fight, that maybe he tested positive for PED, and they're like, well, we got a list of 4, you know, we can give them an extra X amount of dollars, and we know one of these 4 guys is going to take the fight?
I don't know, but I do know that we were on standby. I got the call that Uzateki tested positive October 27th. We got the call to be on standby around October 23rd. And you know, I called Karan and I was like, yo, man, listen, we're gonna be on standby. You get a couple extra dollars in your pocket. You're probably not gonna have to fight. Put some money in your pocket for Christmas time. And he like, all right, cool. I just gotta make weight. I'm like, yeah. And a couple of days later, I'm like, yo, man, Uzateki tested positive. He's like, damn, really? So I don't know, Fred, you know what I mean? But I will say this, you know, coming up, having a blue chip prospect, you know, one trick that the matchmakers do is they call the B-side guy late, so he don't have a lot of time to prepare. So, for example, let's say if you got a guy at 154, right? He comes up fighting a lot of welterweights because, you know, the junior middleweights don't have a lot of time to prepare and get down in weight. So what you'll be doing is you'll be fighting a welterweight who's just stopping at 54. So when prospects had these glossy records when they like 12-0 with 10 knockouts, I always say it's a little different when you got to fight a guy that got 6 weeks to train and his coach get to study you and watch you on YouTube and things like that. So don't get too cocky about your record, because right now you being built up in the favor of the people upstairs that want to see you do certain things. They're putting you in a favorable position. Right. So I tell guys, like, you know, it's a lot to this game. It's a lot of intricacies. It's a lot of different things that you do, you know what I mean, to build the guy up. So, you know, I like to see if a guy can cross over that next step where he's fighting guys that are prepared to fight him. That's how you can tell if a prospect is real or not. And, you know, some of these guys get like more advantages than what meets the eye. And the records are a little bit more glossy, you know, and then you got everybody on YouTube and social media going all crazy and showing a lot of highlights of them. And I'm like, man, you know, I'm not going to call nobody out, but a lot of guys are products of matchmaking, and they not fighting. I'm not going to say real fights, because all fights are real, but they're not fighting legitimate fights against guys who have a fair chance of winning. So,
right. What percentage would you say is from 2 weeks to 6 weeks in terms of preparing a fighter?
Oh my God. 2 weeks, you just like breaking the lazy gene out of them. You know what I mean? You gotta like, I'm gonna give you a fair percent. It's at least 30%.
Wow.
Yep, it's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Now when you look at the other corner in hindsight, how good is David Benavidez and his boxing skill set, his preparation, now that you've gone 7 rounds with him?
He's real good. You know what I mean? I'm not going, it's, you know, it's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the smug look on Samson Lukowicz's face after they beat it, after I stopped the fight, you know. But, you know, I'll see him with one of my guys again and we'll figure it out. And I like him, you know what I mean? He's cool, but he just had like this like little cocky look on his face. And I'm like, damn, man, my kid, you know, he came in here against it. But David Benavidez is good, man. One thing about me, man, I'm not no hater. You know what I'm saying? The guy is fluid. He got good punch release. He got the stamina. He has a good two-fisted attack. He has fast hands. He punches in bunches. He knows what he's doing. He's really, really calm when he's pursuing you. He know what he's doing. I could tell he spar a lot. It's something about certain guys I could tell he spars a lot. He probably do about 200 rounds at camp. He's not the most physically strong guy. Karan was able to push him. He's not hitting me, so I asked Karan what kind of power he got. He said it's not one punch knockout power. It's more like a heavy-handed volume. Karan was in camp with Triple G, and he told me Triple G is the best puncher he's ever boxed. And he said it's nothing like that. He said, but he can punch pretty good. But I like Benavidez. Benavidez can fight. He's going to be a rough night's work for anybody.
How do you see that the two most notable names that could potentially fight him, Canelo and Charlo? How do you see them?
I think they both great fights. All three of those guys are violent fighters. They all have like a violent mindset. They're there to hurt you. I think Canelo got a little advantage over him, just because of the level that he's been at and the way he's operating right now. But if Canelo can't hurt David, it's a rough night, because I still think Canelo takes off in spots. I still don't think. Yeah, but he knows how to hide it because he's so clever.
That's what I'm about to say.
Yeah, he's
real cool with it. Yeah,
he's real clever. He can think under pressure. He's very good defensively, so he knows how to hide his little takeoff moment. I actually thought he got tired against Caleb, but Caleb start giving off a body language of and Canelo like smelled it. And then took over, 10 and 11 in the fight. I would give Canelo a little edge over him, because I think David got like a long torso. I know I'd be getting in the small thing, but he got a long torso, and I don't know if he could defend his body versus Canelo. Canelo murder to the body. Big Charlo and David, that's a good fight, man. That's like, man. That's a close fight. I got a lot of respect for Jamal. Jamal got a major chin. He's really strong, can punch. But and I think he's a little more athletic than David. But I don't know if Jamal is as naturally talented, because talent and athletic is different. David can flow with his punches, where Jamal is kind of programmed, jab, right hand, left hook. He's not as he doesn't have the variation to his attack that David does. He's not as imaginative as David is, or as Canelo is. If you notice with Jamal, it's kind of it's weird, because the best punch Jamal ever threw was against my guy. That countered uppercut against J-Rock.
He caught it.
He never threw a shot before or after like that. I watched so much tape of him studying. He never did that shit again, man. It's so weird, but I give him credit. He was on that night. But I don't know if he has if he's as imaginative as David is in his attack, and it's going to count. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's as quick-minded, if he makes the adjustments like David. David's really free-flowing, where Jamal's kind of stiff. It's a good fight. Now, one thing Karan told me, though, is really interesting. He was like, David can punch, but he's not super physically strong. Physical strength and punching power is different. And Jamal is strong. So I would be interested to see, because neither one of them going to really want to back up. Right. So I would be interested to see how that works out. But David got a big age advantage over Jamal, man. David's 24, still want to be a great fighter. As weird as this may sound, Fred, 24 and 31 is a big difference, man. Stages in your life, man, what you're willing to go through and what you're willing to do. You know what I mean? It's a big, big difference. I just sent the video to J-Rock a couple couple of weeks ago, man, we was talking, you know, and I sent a video of him running in the snow, 6 o'clock in the morning, had the camera on him. This was before all of the media was pumping him up and everything. And I said, this is what you gotta get back to, man. You know, after you make $1 million, you buy some Porsches and some multi-unit buildings, things change, man. You know, if you want to get back to where we was at, that's what you got to do. And he said, yeah. I was driving to go see Quran. I was driving to go work Quran out. And I said, you see what time it is? And he said, yeah. And he didn't disagree. I said, that's what we need. And with Jamal and David, you know, I would like to see if Jamal could get back to that. You know what I mean? Like that animalistic way about him. I'm not saying that he lost it, but I'm just saying that when you start making money, Fred, it's just different, bro. It's different, man. You know, I'm at the fights with these guys. Everything just changes. It's hard to get to be as dedicated and have that animalistic edge when you get a little bit older and you start saying things like, man, I ain't gonna die in that ring. I got kids. I know a world-class fighter that, like, man, like at one time I was willing to go there. Now I got a kid. I ain't going there no more. I ain't dying for these fans. I ain't dying for no fight. And they fight like it. They fight like, you know, like this is a business decision and I'm only gonna go but so far.
Right.
I know Quran is still an animal. You know what I'm saying? And that's a morbid word. You know, people don't like hearing that term when Deontay Wilder say, Wilder really mean that. He means that. And Quran don't talk like that and he don't have that platform, but he mean that. You know what I mean? He was like, I know what I got to do tonight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Jamal don't have that because I believe Jamal's an animal too, but I just wonder if he could go there for a young kid like David coming up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it matters, man. In a fight that close, those little things matter. To me, that's like a 50-50 fight. You know, some people have been asking me, some days I probably lean Jamal. I think he might be a little physically stronger. He got that good hard jab. But then I think about it, you know, I went up against Jamal and Jamal don't run his hands the way David do. And he's not as smooth with different things. And David is, man. So, and I saw that last fight against Montiel, you know, and that guy, Montiel is, he's with Samson Lukowicz.
He's with Samson.
And he was hitting Jamal with a left hand up underneath. A lot of people didn't see that, but I seen it. That shot was getting home. That boy gave Jamal a lot of trouble in them later rounds. And I think that's why they are so eager to fight Jamal, because they know what he did and they figure that if he could do that, then David could do that. So they've been bending over backwards to try to goad Jamal into a fight, because obviously David is more talented and bigger than Montiel, and they trying to get him that fight because they saw that, you know what I'm saying? And it's up to Jamal whether he gonna take the bait or not. But I think that's a big reason why they coming after him the way they are. So, but man, you know, they got to figure that out, man. That's rich people problems, man.
Man, that's the Coles is here, and we got one question, Kyle Breadman Kyle. What's your take on Sean Porter's dress code, by the way?
Mine?
Yeah. What's your take on how he dresses?
Y'all crazy, man. I'm not getting into that, man. I'm not getting into
that. man. But before we change gears, and then I hand it to Kyle for a second. It's funny you mentioned that, because I saw a quote from Jamal Charlo. He says, "Why do I quote?" He was responding to a fan in the comment section. He says, "Why do I need to fight David Benavidez? I'm already rich." End quote.
See, I didn't read that quote, but I just know Jamal and Julian are both born in 1990. The weirdest thing happened with PBC. I don't know if this was the stars lined up or whatever, but they had Jamal and Jamel. Obviously, they born the same year. Julian, Earl, Tony, and Jared, all born in 1990. Weirdest thing ever. Everybody got signed, right? So I know that they all 31 this year. And when you get that age, your perspective starts changing.
Right.
It just does, man. Fred, I'm telling you, like the conversations that I used to have with Julian is just different now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just different. You know, it's just evolution. It's evolving. Me and you, Fred, I guess we close to the same age. I'm 45, so I guess we're around the same age. You know what I mean? We talk different than we was when we was 21. And some things I said and did that I wish that was different. But with a fighter, fighters, the special fighters can remain the same. The special ones, I mean, 0.1%. But even the really good ones and most of the great ones, things change as you start getting to that point, man. And you know, and if you notice, Fred, in this era, you don't see a lot of guys in their 30s fight guys in the early 20s.
Wow.
You don't see that. Just think about it. It's a rare thing. Matchmakers and managers know, like, yo, don't mess with him. I tell you what, I bet you won't see too many people fight Boots Ennis. Seriously. I bet they not gonna fight that kid. People could talk about how green he is. And listen, I seen him in the gym. I've been around him since he was 17 years old. I know his father. I'm telling you right now, nobody's going to fight him unless the sanctioning bodies force the fight, because they know. They can say what they want. They know, don't fight that boy, man. I'm telling you. And you don't see that. People can't come out and say that. But don't nobody want to mess with no 23, 24, 25-year-old kid. They forced Jamel Herring into that fight versus Shakur Stevenson, man. You know what I mean? It's a difference between the reflexes of a kid in the early 20s and a man in his early 30s. You done took 7, 8 more years worth of punches. So there's a little difference, man. So we gotta see.
Kyle.
Man, listen, that's that's important that you said that, man, because people don't understand that was not Jamel's Herring's ass whooping to take. That was Oscar Valdez's ass whooping, man. And the ass whooping that he took that night, man, was fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, he took an ass whooping that didn't belong to him. You know what I mean? You know how, like, when you was a kid and your brother did something and y'all both got an ass whooping? And you like, man, you can't tell on him, this ain't my ass whooping, but I'm going to take this ass whooping because I got to.
When I was a kid, people was getting their ass whooped for me. I was the one that did bad shit and everybody got beat for me. So I get it. Yeah, man. That was a tough fight for Jamel, man. But it's boxing, you know, so you can't have a pity party for a guy making 7 figures. But that was a tough fight for him to take, man. You know, 35, young kid like that. It's just, I'm telling you, man, it's very rare. You know, it's just a rare thing. You got to force it with the mandatories. But Shakur Stevenson got good representation, and he got a chance to force the fight. So,
yeah, man. And I've been in the gym with Jerron Ennis a few times, and I tell the story a lot. But
you tell it every night.
Hey, listen, because man, listen, when y'all in there with that man, y'all see the talent up close and personal. That shit is different, man. I mean, this dude is different. You know what I mean? The speed, the power, the intelligence. Man, listen, I'm holding the bag for him, and I was a little heavy. I was like 230 at the time, and I'm like trying to like hold the bag. Man, me and that bag took a whole trip around the world, man. And then what made it worse was he was like, man, I wasn't even hitting it that hard. Man, I said, well, shit, me and the bag couldn't tell.
yeah, he's a talented kid. I hired him for camp in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Julian was red hot as a prospect. He was like in the middle of like this round streak that Showtime had tracked where he didn't lose a round for like,
I remember that.
For like 3 years.
It was like 81 rounds or something like that, right?
No, it was 51 straight rounds for 3 years. He had not lost a round. And we hired Jerron Ennis. It was right after his fight with a guy by the name of Michael Medina. The fight's on YouTube. And I was doing Ramadan. And Jerron Ennis came, Dad brought him down to the gym and to spar. And we were sparring him at night or whatever, because it was during Ramadan. And I was like, his dad said, well, he's 17, but he can hold the work. I'm like, all right, it's your son, all right, fine. And they box, and I was like, whoa, damn, this kid is the real deal. And listen, he wasn't cocky or arrogant enough, and he was just like, look, man, you don't even got to pay me. I just want to work for the experience. I don't have a lot of amateur fights. He's a great fighter. I just want to work. And I was like, no, I'm gonna pay you, man. You deserve every bit of it. You know what I mean? And listen, Julian wasn't taking it easy on him because he was no kid. You can't even play with him back then. Like he was cracking him. Like I'm not. Listen, it was real. Like real. Like he was trying to knock Julian head off. He was a total gentleman, but he was trying, and Julian was trying to knock his head off. One time Julian hit him, and I was like, "You all right?" He's like, "Man, I'm all right." I was like, "All right, go ahead." And he, like, I was like, I knew then, like, wow. I told some people at PBC, I was like, yo, man, this kid right here, y'all running around signing kids, this the kid right here. Yeah, he's a phenomenal, like you can't even spar him unless you in shape. And I ain't talking about regular shape, Fred. An average fighter could go to the gym and spar 4 to 6 rounds in street clothes because of the level of conditioning they had. You can't play with him like that. You got to be like 95% ready to peak to box him, or he gonna hurt you, bro. And he's sadistic. He acts nice, but he's sadistic. He'll hurt you, man. I watched him hurt people, man. I'm telling you, man. These boys don't want to fight him. I don't care. I'm telling you, he'll end one of these guys' careers if he fights them. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna hurt one of these older veteran guys if they not 100% they mind not into this game. I'm telling you, he gonna hurt one of them. He's a very sadistic. He's a nice kid, never curse. He's always nice and respectful to me. But when he get in that ring, man, he tries to hurt you. It's like a constant. I've watched him destroy kids in the ring. I tell guys coming to Philly to train with me, be like, I want to box Ennis. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're not boxing him, man. You don't know what you're getting into. I'm not going down there boxing him. Yeah, man.
Marky Don wants to know is salute to you boys. You gave us a great show on Saturday. What you think about Castano and Mel? How you see the rematch going?
I thought Castano probably edged the first fight, to be honest.
I did too.
You know, I try to be as objective as I can. I thought he probably edged it. But I think Mel got his timing down now. Mel was able to catch him with some big shots. I wouldn't be surprised if Mel clipped him the second time. Mel got a clutch gene. He lose a lot of rounds.
Good, he does have a clutch gene.
But he always land that money shot. It's so weird, man. Like people ask me about Mel and J-Rock at their best. I always be like, Julian to beat him, but he gotta be careful because he could clip him because he always land that shot. I feel like that he got Castano timing down. You know, so I wouldn't be surprised if Mel clipped him in a rematch if they fight.
How about this Saturday's fight, Porter and Crawford?
I'm higher on Crawford than most people are. You know, I think he got a lot more in his bag of tricks than people believe. And I think that resume oftentimes gets a little bit overstated because a lot of things go behind the scenes as far as who's allowed to fight who, what money's put up, what kind of person. Like for a guy like Canelo, for example, everybody says he has the best resume, and he probably does. I'm not going to argue that. But he also represents everybody's highest payday. So nobody turns him down. So when you represent that, you're going to have the best resume because that's what we in this for. We in this for prize fighting. So I think that Crawford's resume is good enough considering a lot of things. I think he's among the 4 fighters in the world that's kind of operating at a different level than everybody else. I'm not even going to put Ennis there yet because he hasn't won a title yet. So I look at Crawford, Canelo, Usyk, and Enal. They kind of operating at like a special level. I will put Earl there, but Earl has some injuries and things like that. So I haven't, you know, I want to see how he looks after certain things. So I think Crawford, you know, you can't bet against Crawford. But I do think it's going to be a hard night's work because the type of fighter that Sean is, he's a kind of guy people don't. You're not going to watch boxing and say I want to be like him. He doesn't have a pretty style, but he is a winner. You know, he won a lot of national tournaments as a short guy. He has a good pedigree. He has a lot of experience. He knows how to fight different styles. He can kind of make you brawl when you want to box and box when you want to brawl. He can make things a little rough and ugly. But I think that Sean's big disadvantage in this fight is his inaccuracy. He's not an accurate puncher. He's like all wild and all over the place. And Crawford is pinpoint and he's precise. So I think that that's a big advantage that Crawford had. You know, hopefully in Sean's camp they worked on that because he's not the like if you ever notice, Sean don't hit guys with that clean shot right on the point of the chin. He'll hit them, but high on the head, all over the place. But he don't hit you with a clean, precise shot. Crawford is really precise. I actually had Karan in camp with Crawford, and he was telling me, like, you know, he's like, man, he can't really hurt me like that because I'm bigger than him. But his punches are very, very precise, and he know how to change speeds on him right in the middle of his shot. So he'll be like punching, and you don't think the shot's getting in there, and he got ability to snap it through like the last couple of inches. He's a real gifted puncher. You know what I mean? Karan, the kind of kid, he don't really compliment guys like that. So when he said that, I kind of like took heed to it. So, you know, Crawford has the advantage in the fight. But listen, you know, it's a fight. We seen a lot of upsets this year. Crawford hasn't been the most active fighter. Sean has been dying for this fight.
Right.
And, you know, they say it's Crawford's last fight with Top Rank. So who knows, man?
Right.
You know, who knows, man? You know, it's a lot to go on in boxing. I don't even say everything.
You're not going to need no judges, though.
You think it's going to be a knockout?
Get your black suit, get a black tie, get a black shirt, and go to Sean Porter's funeral.
Oh, your kids woke up. Oh, your kids woke up. They got their onesie on. Oh, hey, Kennedy gonna come running here any minute now as well. But she does it more than she needs to do it. Tell me something because I rag on the Porters a lot sometimes too. You know, and sometimes I can be considered a hater, and that's fair. I really don't.
Hey, Fred, this is French.
We. And but for real, from if Sean Porter loses this fight,
he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's done. He can go fight Jaron Ennis. But what I'm saying is, what does
he can't do that?
You're right. When you look back on his career, what was Sean Porter missing? I say, I'll give you my answer after. I
think that I kind of look at things in a different perspective. I think that he got all he could get out of his talent. I think that he sort of overachieved. If you really think about it, Fred, he's not a great boxer, right? He's not a big puncher. He's short for the weight. He has decent hand speed, but it ain't like phenomenal hand speed. Not the most talented guy in the world, but yet he's won, I believe, 2 welterweight titles.
Right.
He's been involved in some big fights. I would suppose that he's made $12 to $15 million in his career.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think,
half of that is with his dad.
Well, I'm not gonna get into that, man. Your guy's crazy, but so I feel like that he's overachieved in his career. You know what I mean? So I don't know what he was missing, because here's the thing: all of the fighters that beat Sean were better than Sean. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's walking around losing to guys that that 100 don't, like Kell Brook in 2014 was a bad boy. You know what I mean? Smooth, fight. Keith Thurman's a little bit more talented than Sean, and Earl is more talented than Sean. And he gave everybody a tussle. I mean, listen, Earl needed that knockdown in that fight, according to the judges. You know what I mean? That was a tough, hard fight. So I think he did what he did in his career. He did, he did the best he could with what he had. I think he overachieved.
Wow, I
But
never looked at it from that perspective.
yeah, do you think he's a great talent? Because I don't look at him as like this phenomenal talent. You know what I mean? I think he's talented to be at the world class level, but you know what I mean? Like that like super duper talent. I don't view him like that. He don't like stand out in one area besides maybe durability. You know what I mean? He's like maybe like a notch below Tim Bradley. And Tim Bradley's not the most talented guy, and Tim Bradley's gonna go to the Hall of Fame. But uh I don't know. I think he overachieved in his career, to be honest.
Good perspective. I never looked at it from an overachieving perspective. Kyle?
You know, you know how you said you give people credit. You're not a hater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hater. I'm a hater of Sean Porter. Listen, man. This is all I'm gonna say. He's a good fighter. Is he great? No. You know, when the chips are on the table, you can bet against him. You know what I mean? You can bet against him and win. He ain't house money. You know what I'm saying? He ain't, he ain't the lottery. You can bet against that man. You know what I'm saying? Now, would I bet
What's your name,
against?
Kyle? What's your name, Kyle? Your name, Kyle?
Yep.
Can I tell you that, though? At the top level, house money is usually 50-50 unless you got a phenomenal, great fighter. You realize that, right? Like, if you fight top level guys in their primes, and the key word is in their primes, house money is usually 50-50 unless you got that transcendent type of talent. If you like look at all of the guys, like if you go through the top 10 guys of the last 5 years, right? And you look and say, who did they fight at their primes or close to their primes? You're going to be about 50-50 with all of those fights, unless you got special talent that just don't lose and go on 10-15 year win streaks where they don't lose a fight. You know what I mean? Unless you have that, that's what's going to happen. So I don't think that's just Sean. You know what I mean? I think that's like everybody, except unless you are Terrence Crawford, Enal, Usyk, Canelo. Unless you're that, let's just think about it. Just pick a random. Okay, we just said Jamel, right? Okay, I'll give you Jamel. Jamel then had a majority decision versus Austin Trout. Am I right? Right. Okay. Jamel then had a decision loss to Tony Harrison. The second fight to Tony Harrison, I thought he was losing that one until he clipped him. Those judges were wrong in that fight.
Right.
Then he fights Brian Castano and gets a draw. So that's 4 fights against elite fighters at the top level. He's about 50-50. And Jamel, one of the best fighters in the world. I just picked his name randomly because we were just talking about him. Brian Castano, right? Now, we thought that he won the fight or whatever, but his best 2 fights, here's Randy Lara, Jamel Charlo. He gets a draw in both. Both of them close to their prime. Both of them with a lot of ability. I'm just telling you, it's a lot harder, man, when you don't have to get the hand pick your opponents like that, and you gotta fight dudes in their prime that's ready for you, and it's an any given night type of deal. So even though Sean has lost his 3 most important fights, Brooke, Spence, and Thurman, he did beat Danny Garcia, and most guys come up short. And like I thought, Ugas may have edged Sean, but all those fights are kind of like, you know what I'm trying to say, Fred? It's like those, a swing round here, a swing round there.
That's like about Sean Porter, though. See, that's the point I'm making against Sean Porter. See, when you look at Terrence Crawford, like, all right, I ain't betting. Like you said, you ain't betting against Terrence Crawford. We ain't betting against Earl Spence. You're gonna bet against Sean Porter. 9 times out of you're betting against him because at the end of the day, he come up short. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when the money is on the table, you can bet against him. Like this weekend, We're betting against them. Me, you, and Fred, whether we like him, we love him or not, we're betting against him. We don't think he's gonna win. We for damn sure don't think he gonna be he gonna knock him out. You know what I'm saying? He don't hit hard enough. Listen, I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. The only thing special about Sean Porter is he's got some pressure. But if you can touch that pressure up, what we doing?
He got a big heart. That counts for a lot. He got a ticker. He got a ticker. When Earl hit him with that right hook, he was hurt. And he jumped up and he said, "Let's go." He got a ticker. You know, when you don't like a guy, my man, sometimes we get overly critical of people that we don't like. And I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all never gonna know who I like, who I don't like, because I always call it the way it is. Sean got a ticker. If you got to give him credit. Listen, people talk about that crossing the street, this, that, and the other. Sean Porter made this fight. Don't get it twisted. He went, yo, I want him. I want that work. I know that for a fact. He pursued this fight.
Sure. And that's the thing too. He didn't have no other choice though.
It's other fights he could have had.
I mean, okay.
You know what?
Name
I don't like to get into other people's financial business and things like that. Things that I know about the PBC and stuff like that. That's not fair because that's not my business. But I'm telling you, he pursued this fight in his other fights that he could have had. And he asked for the work. Where a lot of dudes was like, I ain't messing with Crawford. Sean was like, oh, make me the mandatory. I want him. And it was like, oh, okay, we're going to give you what you want. So you got to respect the dude that do that.
Sure.
You gotta respect him, man. He raised his hand like, all right.
This is all I'm saying. Because people always say, this is who he fought this guy, he fought that guy, he fought that guy. And then I say, well, who did he beat? And then they bring up Alex, what's the nigga name, man? Devin Alexander. That's the first person they bring up. They always say Devin Alexander. And I'm like, hey, man, wait a goddamn minute, man. He ain't no Errol Spence. He ain't on no Errol Spence level. You know what I mean? Like, he was a good fighter. Absolutely. But they always bring up Devin Alexander like he was the best fighter to ever touch the face of the earth. You know what I mean? And he had a lot of extra shit going on outside the ring. You know? And then they say Andre Berto. Berto been through some wars before he got to Sean Porter.
Well, I don't count Berto as one of Sean's best wins, to be honest with you. I wouldn't count that. But I do think Alexander and Danny Garcia are solid wins. What y'all think about? I think they solid. They solid.
I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all may disagree with me, but I thought Danny Garcia won that fight. In my opinion, I thought he did enough to beat Sean Porter.
It was a close fight.
He had more. His shots were more solid. They were more accurate. That's for damn sure. You know what I mean? The man
you're not gonna get me to argue that. I'm a Philly guy. Danny, my boy. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna argue against that. I'm just talking about the official decision went to Sean Porter. So you know what I mean? We got to respect that. And that's what I mean by the top level of boxing. You got like. Sometimes it's a swing round. It's a matter of subjective preference. And you get most guys is like people may criticize Danny. He falls into that same category. He's about 50-50 up there. You feel what I'm trying to say? In those fights, like Danny lost to Sean, he lost to Earl, he lost to Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? In those type of fights, that's how those fights look. So that's all. That was my point.
Right. And speaking of Danny, what are your thoughts on him saying he could beat any 154?
Well, he got to do it.
He got to do it.
He would PBC, Fred. I mean, and he got about 20 54s. So that's the easiest thing in the world to do is go do it. I mean, that's my guy. You know what I mean? I got a lot of love for Danny. He actually helped J-Rock get signed. You know what I mean? When, you know, they called and was like, yo, can this kid fight? And Danny was like, yeah. But, you know, if he wants to move up, it's definitely a lot of work at 54. You know what I mean? So let's see how his body translates and things like that. Maybe he's at a point in his life where he feel like he don't want to be cutting weight no more. It takes a little something out of him. I could see that. And So let's see. Who knows? I think that the 54s is just the 54s in this era just so much bigger than the 47s. 47s is 5'7". They reach is like 69, 70 inches. The 54s is 5'10" to 6 foot, 73, 74 inch reach. They just different size men. So Danny's gonna have a time with the athleticism and the physicality of the 54s in my pick. Like, to me, a lot of people don't know this. Earl Spence was a 52 in the amateurs.
Olympics, yeah.
Earl Spence, Fort Julian, 2009 USA Championships. So he was the number one kid at 152. And Earl Spence is really like a 54 who can happen to make 47, kind of like how Boots Ennis. But a lot of these 47s in this era, like Keith Thurman, they itty bitty short guys. Danny used to be a 40-pounder. So there's a difference. Like, if Danny was to fight a guy like, say, Tony Harrison, I'm not getting into who win or lose, but Tony's 6 feet, 6'1", long arms. Danny's 5'8", you know what I mean? 68, 69-inch reach is a different level of physicality. With Danny and Earl, Danny just didn't have the motor to get to Earl. Earl got that long southpaw jab. He jabbed him and take a half a step back. And Danny got to pretty much lunge out of his comfort zone. So there's a difference in the physicality. He's going to have to work really, really hard to win fights at 54, or they got to pick the right guy for him. So we'll see.
How do you see?
I wish him the best, though.
How do you see a fight with him and Erickson Lubin going?
Danny? I mean, Lubin will have the advantage, but Danny could clip him. I mean, Lubin is kind of susceptible to big shots. You know what I mean? If Danny don't hit him with a big shot, though, it would be tough. Lubin's an ultra talented kid. You know what I mean? He has a little chink in his arm. He gets hurt. But other than that, he's a super talent. He's a very talented kid, man. And the thing about him is he got an excellent coach. Kevin Cunningham's an excellent coach. And his other coach also, Jason Galarza, he got a good team. But Lubin not gun shy. He got clipped by Charlo. That don't mean nothing to him, man. He go right back in there. He got like that Terry Norris mentality. He go back in there slinging them. He don't care, man. He take tough fights. He been calling Charlo out. He been trying to get the WBC number one contender. Dude knocked him out in the first round. Don't mean nothing to him. You know what I mean? Lubin is he's an interesting guy. He's a wild card. You know what I mean? Because anybody can get knocked out, but not everybody can get over being knocked out. And he's I like his mentality. He's a gunslinger, and I like that about him.
How you like the Tower Inferno? They pushing him. He's the co-main event. He was the co-main.
Man. You know, I don't know how good he is. I just know that it's probably impossible to find sparring for a 6'7" southpaw. So I don't know if anybody wants to fight him, Fred, because of that. I don't know if he's so good. It's just, I mean, like, I wouldn't want to fight him, and I'll take tough fights. I mean, where am I going to find a sparring? You know what I mean? He seems strong. He seemed to have a good punch. I watched him lose to Jamonte Clark. People forget about that, and they gave him a draw. But I think he's improved since then. But I think he's more difficult than good as of right now. But I got to see some more of him. But I know don't nobody want to fight him because it's just, I mean, where can you get the sparring? You know what I mean? He's a 6'7" southpaw. I literally don't know any of them that you could get the spar for that guy.
Well, the starting point guard from the Philadelphia 76ers is not working. So maybe he's softball. Maybe you can convince him to come do some spar.
Talking about Ben Simmons?
Yeah, Ben Simmons. Maybe.
Oh man, that guy. Man. I wouldn't even have Ben Simmons at the gym, man. The city done turned on that guy, man.
Wow.
We got a rough city, Fred. Our city is rough, man. You can't have a bad day in this city, man. My God. They mess around and slash his tires, man.
Man. And by the way, he's a Samson fighter too. I just thought I'd mention that.
I know.
Hey, why is Samson getting this push? Why is he
Go upstairs.
I watch the moves, but I mean, I watch the fights too. But I see how things are moving. I'm like, how was he the co-main event for Tank Davis, the co-main event for Earl Spence, and he was the headliner on Deontay Wilder's and Tyson Fury's free TV fight? I'm like, oh, I see that, and I'm like,
And a black fighter can't get a fight no fucking place.
oh man, yeah, you can on the corner of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X Boulevard. I mean, they yeah. Man, it's a tangle where we. What's next for J-Rock?
Man, I just seen him today, man. I thought he won that fight. I thought he got out to a good lead, but honestly, I didn't like how he looked in the last few rounds. I think it was ring rust, a lot of anxiety. He was away from me for a long time. He got some medical things he got to clear up, man, and I want to give it another run. You know what I mean? I don't want to go out like that, especially on a fight that I feel in my heart that he was looking good and he won. Just get him active. Maybe fight Benavidez's brother. You know what I mean? That's a good fight. You know what I mean? And go from there, man. Julian's a talented kid, man. Just gotta stay consistent, man. Keep his head on straight. And hopefully we just, everything get cleared up and we just give it one more push, man. Even on my mind a lot, man. Him and Karan, they kind of like sons to me, man. So I want to see the best for him. But yeah, so hopefully, he get a couple of things cleared up, man, and we go back to work. He's saying all of the right things, call me today. It's like, let's go train. So we'll see, man. That last fight was very disappointing.
It was.
It was.
I mean,
I thought he won that fight, though, Fred. I really did, man. You don't think so?
Nah, he lost the last 6 rounds. Like it was his body language was bad.
Yeah, it was. I thought he lost the last 4 rounds. I didn't think he lost the last 6.
Yeah, I was yelling at the TV. I was like, nigga, I mean, excuse me, but I was like, man, what are you doing? Like, you look great for 4 rounds. You look great.
I still don't know. I don't know if it was an anxiety attack or what. It was just weird. It was weird, man. I don't know. It bothers me to even talk about it, man. I just think that we was away from each other for so long, man. So many people had so much to say about our relationship and stuff, and it just kind of just like I think it took its toll on Joel mentally, man. And I never wanted nothing but the best for him. You know what I'm saying? And he came back, and I had about 5 weeks to get him ready. But with Julian, man, it's things that only I know about him, and I'm not saying that to be cocky or anything. But like it's I'm the only person that could get certain things done with him. And I'm not saying I'm a better coach than anybody that he went to or anything like that. But they just don't know him the way I know him.
Right.
They just don't. And they can't get certain things out of him. And when I got him, he just had it was just some things that he was doing. And it just was just different. It's not right or wrong. It just was different. Like we had our own way of solving certain problems.
Right.
And when you get with other coaches, you got to start doing. You can't tell another coach, Steve used to have me doing this, because the other coach is going to say, "Why you ain't stay with Steve?" That's what the problem is with that. And like the way he was fighting that guy, like Fred, there's nowhere in the world I have him moving that much from a guy like that. He was hitting him with too many right hands. He was hitting him with right hand after right hand. We don't have to go nowhere with a guy like that. Julian started moving around and doing all that. And I'm like, dang, man, and it wasn't even a blame thing. I've been mad at him after fights that he won. You know what I mean? I've been happy with him after fights that he lost, like the Charlo fight. I was proud of him. He fought his butt off that night. But that fight, I was just like, man, we were just apart from too long. You know what I mean? You can't do that in boxing. You got a mark on you now, man. And we gonna make another run if everything go right. You know, clear up a couple of medical things, and we'll make another run. Because actually, honestly, he had a good camp.
Mm-hmm.
The 5.5 weeks that I was with him, you know, he looked it pretty good. You know, he was about 85-90% of his old self. You know, and you know, hopefully we'll get it back, man.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, man, that was a tough one, man.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see all y'all round robin it, man, before y'all get the hell out of the sport. You know, between the Jared Hurds, the Erickson Lubins, the Tony,
Yeah,
because y'all are my era. So I would like to see.
yeah, I'm with that. I want to get Julian a shot at you know, if he could get on a little win streak, I would like to get him a shot at the winner of Jamel and Castano, because him and Jamel never had a chance to bump, even though they're from the same era. And he bringing that kid Tim Zoo over here, so I know he wants some smoke.
Mhm.
You know, Fred, look, I ain't into ducking and running. You know, once he get right, he get a little comeback win, we gonna go. You know, Jewel 31, he be 32 in April. Our birthdays are 3 days apart. Mine's is the second, his is the fifth. So we gonna fight. You know what I mean? And if I got him for 8 to 10 weeks without nobody bothering us, trying to get in between our relationship or anything like that, I can get him back. You know what I mean? It's gonna take some work, but I know how to push the buttons. You gotta treat Jewel like an animal. You gotta treat him like a dog. You know what I mean? You can't certain things you can't do with him. He gotta be in. It may sound sick, but you gotta make him suffer. He gotta suffer. You know what I'm saying? That's what he responds to. I'm telling you, like hitting the bag and showing him a couple moves. That's all fine and good, but Jewel need to suffer. I know, because I used to make him suffer. And he used to hate me, but he get in the ring. He was a man. You talk about an animal. He was an animal coming up. You know what I'm saying? But somewhere, you know, along the way, you lose your way. People start getting in your ear, and next thing you get away from doing the things that got you there. You know what I'm saying? And it comes back to bite you
Yeah.
in a roundabout way. You know what I'm saying? And all you gotta do is just stick tight to me, man. I'm not gonna guide him. I haven't guided him wrong inside or outside the ring. He just gotta just stick tight with me, man, and just listen. You know what I mean? I treat him like a man. You know, I don't treat him like a little kid no more and tell him what to do. I ask him what to do. But he knows it. He knows what he gotta do, man, and he gotta suffer. He got to suffer in camp. He got to be away from all worldly things. He got to get treated like an animal, and that's what he need to succeed. He can't function under niceness and warmth. That's not him. He don't respond to that. He don't respond to people patting him on his back. He needs everybody to be against him. He needed to be me and him against the world. He need to feel left out and loathed, and y'all don't like me. And that's how, I'm telling you, that's how he gotta feel. With Jared Hurd, it was like, y'all making me catch the train down there. I gotta fight this boy in his hometown. They gonna rob me. Don't nobody think I'm gonna win. I'm killing him. That's the mentality that he gotta have.
Right.
Or else, you know, he's much better when he's counted out instead of counted on. That's how he is, you know what I'm saying? And he gotta get back to that. And I'm not saying nothing on here that I haven't told him. He knows that. You know what I mean? He actually told me today, like, you know what, Steve, I gotta suffer some more, man. I gotta suffer. You gotta make me suffer. It sounds sadistic and it sounds sick. It do, man. But like that's what he told me. He's like, man, I didn't suffer long enough. I was only with you for 5 weeks. I gotta suffer. It's crazy, man, that people don't know how to tap into certain guys. Everybody is different. You know what I'm saying? And that's how to tap in. That's how you tap into him. You know what I mean? He got to be a dog, an animal. I'm not even lying, Fred. That's how he was. When he used to stay in my house, it used to be dark in my basement. He didn't even know whether it was night or day. I'll just bring him food and we go to the gym. Just hand him food and we go to the gym. I swear to God on my kids. It'd be dark down there. He'd be like on YouTube, like looking at like different fights and stuff. And that's how he zoned out for his fights. You know what I mean? He can't deal with like luxuries and all that. That's not what make him tick. You know what I mean? So I just want to get him a couple more big fights, man. Get out of this game. You know what I mean? He got a lot of money. Boy got like 10 houses, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get him a couple more big fights. You know what I mean? Cause here go the thing though, Fred. It's hard to make a millionaire suffer, but so much. You know what I mean? It's not but so much I could take from him. You know what I'm saying? You know, he lives a luxurious life. It's not but so much I could take. You know what I mean? So I just want to get him a couple of big fights and we dog it out and let the chips fall where they may and just,
right,
move on.
right. We got a couple more minutes. A fan want to come in and ask you a question. Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, 817. Thanks for waiting, dog.
Ah, man, it's all love, Fred. Salute to you in the channel. What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, big dog?
What's going on? What's going on, Breadman?
Hey, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, my brother. Salute to you and the work that you do. Hey, man, I'm just glad that J-Rock got somebody real in his corner that ain't afraid to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Let me fix that. I'm glad he got somebody in the corner that's willing to tell him the truth, player. It's the truth.
I didn't hear everything you said. Could you start over for me, please?
Yeah, my brother, my bad. I was just saying that I'm glad that he has somebody real in his corner that's able to tell him the truth.
Who you talking about, J-Rock or Karan?
J-Rock.
Okay.
I'm like Fred, I did thought the last fight, it was hard to watch. He did lose the last 5 to 6 rounds for me. It was hard, brother. It was hard. Just because, Dallas and Philly got a rivalry, you know what I'm saying? And with me being out of Texas, I always keep my eye on the Philly fighters. You know what I'm saying? I always keep my eye on things out of Philly. And J-Rock is a wonderful fighter, but sometimes too much take the hunger away. Take the line out of him. And I think that's what happened to the Charlos. And I think, earlier in that fight, I think J-Rock hit him with some shit that he was confident in that he thought was gonna hurt him. And when it didn't, I just think, you know what I'm saying? He just kind of got lulled into some shit like, damn, I should be hurting this dude. He was thinking too much. Like you say, he was in a malaise. And he ended up losing them rounds and putting himself in a bad situation. So, the refocus is important, man. We talk about that all the time where Earl had his wreck or whatnot, getting the ranch and refocusing and figure, you know what I mean? Getting back to the basics. That's important. So hopefully we get to see J-Rock do that. I just wanted to ask you, being in the fight game and being on the back end and being able to see these things, just like you was able to dissect Jerron and his talent and his ability and why these guys don't want to fight him. Be that as it may, all right? After Saturday, I'm like Kyle, we know Sean Porter, like you said, he just an opponent. He an overachiever, Thurman.
Bills.
Right. They all overachievers. Thurman, Garcia, they all overachievers. You know what I mean? I know you got a different relationship with them, so you're going to say it the way you're going to say it. But at the end of the day, you succinctly put it, they all overachievers. So after we see Bud demolish Porter, because that's what's going to happen, I'm with Kyle. He's going to knock him out. Do you actually see him taking the fight? And I know you say that, you need to see a little more out of Earl before you make a judgment on him. But who do you see winning that fight and why?
Between Earl and Bud?
Right. If we get it next, like we should.
I'm going to tell you something right now, champ. That fight ain't happening next. I know that might let y'all down a little bit, but they not fighting next.
I don't think so either. But I don't think so either. I don't think the network's gonna want to put up the money without knowing that Earl is okay.
Can I ask you something? I'm gonna ask you a fair question, man. Because Earl, my guy, whether y'all know it or not. I really like Earl and Derek. I know them. I don't really know Terrence, but I know his team. Me and his trainer's real cool. So certain things I don't like to get into. But can I ask you something about the money, right? We just saw Canelo make 40 million and Plant make 10 million, right? We just saw that. How much money you think Earl and Bud need to fight? Well, because I keep hearing people say the money, but everybody don't understand. Like,
what the market value is. You tell me what you think they need to fight, because I'm confused about the money, because they ain't getting 40 million. So what do you think the number is? Just hypothetically, since we talking about it, what would you say that the number is?
Well, I mean, it's funny that you say that because I just jumped off a plane from Vegas, right?
Okay.
And I'm walking through the Mandalay Bay and throughout Vegas, me and my lady, and we looking around and we see a 6-second advertisement for Bud and Porter, and that's that on one motherfucking billboard. You feel me?
Okay.
So, and I mean, I ran into a couple of cats out there too, that just happened to be vacationing. I'm telling you, I mean, I didn't find 5 people that was there saying that they was there to see the fight. So,
Okay.
so I know, and I'm just gonna use what's relative to me, right? Here in Dallas, anytime, and I understand it's a hometown thing, but anytime something was announced that Earl was gonna fight, it's a buzz. It is a buzz, not just throughout the city,
Earl is a
but
big
throughout the
star.
state. Fact.
Earl's a big star. I'm not disputing that. Earl's a big star. But I still want you to give me the numbers, what you think Earl should make, what you think Crawford should make, and what would be the total of their both combined purses. I'm just curious because I know what the market value is, but when people I'm a specific guy. Me and Fred been talking for a long time. I don't talk in general terms. I talk in specific terms. Tell me what specifically Earl's gonna make, specifically what Crawford's gonna make, so we could get the percentage breakdown. Because I'm curious, because nobody ever says the numbers.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, just on numbers alone, I say maybe $30 million on the table in between both of them, and maybe what the fight brings and the levity of it. Maybe something like $30 million between the two of them. Now, how they divvy that up is
Tell
how
me
they
how you think they
divvy
should
it up.
divvy it up.
I mean, let's be honest here, man. Let's be honest here. If we just go
We
off
are being honest.
right,
I thought
if
we
we
was
go
all
off
being
numbers
honest.
alone, I say 60-40 is a fair deal. That the way that number came up, that 60-40, I believe that's a fair deal.
In Earl's favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Terrence Crawford goes and puts a demo down, that fight in public opinion is a 50-50 fight.
Facts, Fred. And you know what? And you know what your boy gonna do? He gonna lean. I'm telling you, Porter's tailor-made for him to knock out, right? And just like he said, Porter's an overachiever, and he don't have nothing that he can hang his hat on or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Bud gonna act like he knocked out Mike Tyson, and he gonna stand on it for 50-50, and that's why the fight not gonna happen. But in all actuality, at worst, I say 55-45, but the numbers say it's a 60-40 deal, bro.
I'm a 30 million for them to split 30. I think is a lot. When I think that's a lot. I was gonna say closer to 20. But 30, we could be in between 20 and 30. That's fine. And I don't have a problem with Earl getting a bigger slice of the pie because he has more belts. He's headlined pay-per-view before, and both teams will have to sit down with each numbers and see what they generated, and then come up with that. So anywhere between 60-40 Earl, 50-50 is about right. I don't know if a $30 million guarantee, if either guy could reach that. I gotta look and see what Earl numbers was against Mikey Garcia. But you in the ballpark. That's you pretty sharp. That's pretty right. I was gonna say between 20 and 25 million, with Earl getting a little bit of bigger of a lion's share. But you in the ballpark. That's about right.
I think on the back end too, with the rematch, you know what I mean. I think the rematch and whoever wins, and you know what I mean, each side being able to recoup some money, will actually get the deal done too.
I'm gonna tell you something though, man. A lot of times, bosses eat last, right? So a lot of times, man, on these big guarantees, the promoters lose money, and y'all don't know it because these guarantees be big, man. You know what I mean? You could just do the numbers after the pay-per-view comes in and after the live gate come in and different things, and you could kind of do the numbers roughly in your head. You know what I mean? Like that Canelo and Plant fight, that was some big, big guarantees. You know what I mean? They did over 800,000 buys, so I think they got it all back. But that was a huge guarantee. You know what I mean? Earl and Terrence, I don't know if they've ever been part. I know Terrence haven't. I got to check to see what Earl's pay-per-view numbers was against Mikey Garcia. But I don't know if Earl and Terrence could do 800,000 buys. I think that's more of a 500,000 to 600,000 buy fight. So
right, because Earl's done like 353. He's consistently like been over 3. You know what I mean? And
see, I
and
don't
like I
know
was
yet.
saying again,
I don't want to get quoted on that because 3 is a pretty good pay-per-view number for your first pay-per-view. I think he's only done 3. I think he did Mikey, Danny, and Sean. So over 300,000 buys on your first pay-per-view is really good. You know what I mean? Believe it or not, that's a good number. So I will have to see, you know what I mean, if he did, because that's all going to come up in the meetings. That's why I don't like to argue with fans and get in the middle. Not saying you, because you're a pretty sharp guy, but people don't know how this money is generated. It's so many different things. You know what I mean? I always say, let the millionaires figure it out. Hopefully they do fight. You know what I mean? I honestly think the fight is starting to lose some of its luster. I think that in 2000, unfortunately, I'm a fan of both guys. If they don't fight by 2022, it's not going to be the same because too much stuff is happening. You know, it's already going to be the excuses of Earl had the eye incident and the accident. Terrence Crawford is actually 3 years older than Earl. He's 34. You know, all of those things are going to start coming up. So they need to fight by 2022 or it's going to overcook.
Right.
You know, boxing is notorious. You know, boxing is notorious for over marinating, overcooking some shit. You know what I mean? You know, they always listen, don't nobody want to eat their steak well done, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all overcooking the shit, man. Then, bro, they marinating shit for years. Jared Hurd, Jamel Charlo should have been happy.
Well, you know what? Can I tell you something about that fight?
Yeah.
That was on Hurd because Hurd wanted to fight J-Rock. He wanted to practice on J-Rock for Charlo. I know that for a fact. We were the number one contender.
Yeah, he's scared.
Jared Hurd had fought 2 left-handers, right? He had fought Lara and he had fought Trout. The Charlo unification came up and Jared was like, I want a right-hander. I want a sharp guy to get me ready for Charlo. Jared was told, go right to Charlo, don't mess with Julian. And he wanted to fight Julian. And I was like, I'm with it. We're gonna win this fight. And the only thing we had to do was go to his hometown. So that was on Jared. He just made, you know, he picked the wrong guy. You know what I mean? That's what happened with that particular fight. I agree with you said a lot of fights get overcooked. But that fight right there, Jared had the Charlo fight. He just decided to fight somebody else.
He had a chance to what's wrong with these dudes, man? These dudes are crazy, man.
Well, you have to think, Kyle, before he jumped in there. I mean, he was confident in himself, but you have to think before he jumped in there, he had just fought 2 left-handers. Used to seeing that southpaw attack. He wanted to get himself all the way right. And he probably didn't think that Julian was going to give him that work like that. I'm going to get back in the chat, man. Breadman, salute to you. Salute to you, Fred. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Letting your boy in and let me cook. Man, I hope we do get that fight. And Breadman, get back in there with Julian, man. Take him back to the grimy shit, man, because me as a boxing fan, man, I want to see him get his last run, and I want to see him get Charlo. I want to see him, you know, get in there with a Lubin. I you know what I'm saying? I'm like, Fred, these guys are quote unquote of my era. You know, I still got a piece, you know, we all in the same age range. So I got a piece of Floyd. I got a piece of all of them. You know what I'm saying? I started with Donald Curry at 6 years old. So
my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You going back, brother. Donald Curry was a bad boy, man. Jesus Christ.
Facts. So boxing is important to me. So it's good to see that it's good people like you in boxing, because as long as it's good people like you in boxing, we'll continue to have boxing and we'll continue to have these good stories. So salute to you, Fred. I'll see you later, Kyle.
Johnny Gill.
Hey, 2 hour early's back. I don't know what these boys gonna do.
We gotta get Breadman out of here, man. We touched 600.
I got to ask a question, though, Brett. So, one of my guys, you know what I'm saying, one of my homies, he fought out of your gym. I really want him to sign with somebody, man, because he's a talented fighter. Sugar Sheen.
You know Sheen?
Come on, man. I'm the boxing section, man.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. He's a good kid. I'm not even tripping off getting off the phone because I don't have to be in the gym till 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
And guess who we sparring tomorrow? Sugar Sheen. He's sparring my 122 pound. I got 122 pounder named Romeo Cruz, and they box all the time. So they gonna box tomorrow, man. Sheen's a great kid. That's my guy.
Man, I love that kid, man.
Yeah, he
you
can
know,
fight.
I be in Philly, you know what I'm saying? I'm in Philly a lot. Shout out to my boy Josh the Boxer, man. You know what I'm saying? Of course, everybody know Josh, but that's my guy, man. We did a documentary on him and his life.
Joshua Jones?
Yep.
Okay. He used to train at listen, our gym used to be stacked, man. We had a lot of good kids in that gym.
Yeah. He back with Boots Pops.
Yes. Yep.
What do you think about that conversation that Canelo and Caleb Plant had in the 9th round?
Hey Fred, man, I tell you what, brother, you don't leave no stone unturned.
Well, you already know how I feel. I mean, you can imagine how I feel. I'm not.
I don't know how you feel. I haven't talked to you about it, but let me just say this, man. Let me just say this. All right. Everywhere is different, right? I'm being honest with you. I'm from a place, man. I'm from a different kind of place, right? Mm-hmm. So, we don't talk like that. Like we don't talk like that where I'm from. So, I'm curious to see what Caleb's explanation is. I'm curious to see if he was trying to disarm him, like where he was going with that. Because I've seen fighters try to disarm other fighters. I've seen dudes do stuff like that, and what they're trying to do is disarm them. I'm curious. Where I'm from, we don't talk like that, though. You know what I mean? Because what it does is, like, I believe Canelo was tired. I believe that Canelo started faster than he normally starts. He was putting pressure on Caleb really early because he was kind of angry with him. And even though Canelo is a special elite fighter, I still don't believe he got a special elite gas tank. I believe that he knows how to hide it. He's good defensively. He's just a very experienced guy, so he knows how to hide his flaws from the public. And I believe that that I didn't know what Caleb was saying at the time, but when I saw the video come out later, I'm like, okay, now this is where Canelo got that surge of energy from, because he's like, man, this dude, he's giving a little bit. You know what I mean? There's a little chink in his armor. And you believe it or not, Frank, Customato said, if you tell a fighter that eating nails will make him stronger and he believe you, then feed him nails because it's going to make him stronger. And boxing is mental. And when Canelo saw that Caleb was saying you're a great fighter or whatever else he was saying,
I respect your skills.
I respect your skills or whatever. I think that just made him say, damn, all right, this kid, all right, I'm going to push him over the edge. I believe that. But I don't want to criticize Caleb because I'm curious to what his explanation is, why he said that. Like, what did he think? What was going on with him at the time? I'm just real. I give fighters a lot of leeway, man, because I know sometimes I know people who shot people, and they've been on the stand, and the man said, "Man, you shot the guy 7 times." They be like, "What? I thought I only fired once." Sometimes under the chaos, you don't even know. So maybe I don't know what Caleb was thinking. Maybe he don't remember, but I am curious to what his explanation of why he thought. What was his reasoning behind that? Right. But personally, that's not something that I'm a fan of. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not a fan of that. When Quran, I'm gonna tell you what Karan said to David Benavidez.
I was gonna say.
He said, "Fuck you, bitch. You don't punch that hard. Let's have it." Almost verbatim. That's what he was saying to him. You know, like, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Every fighter is different.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Caleb was trying to disarm him. I don't know. I've never heard anything like that before, though. It was different. When I heard I thought it was like something somebody made up because the internet could do anything.
Too.
I thought it was something somebody made up. I'm like, and then I heard the audio. I'm like, damn, I wonder what he was trying to do. Like, was he trying to BS him a little bit and play a little possum? I'm really curious. I'm not trying to make light of it enough. And Caleb is my man. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, was he trying to bullcrap him? I didn't ask him what he was trying to do, but I am curious to how that went down and things like that. Because I know fighters have little conversations in the ring, but I've never heard anything like that before. That was weird to me.
The guy that's about to come on here is from Nashville. He about to spill out some straight bullshit to cover up some more other bullshit. Go ahead, Santos. I know he about to join. Listen, he gonna tell us that Caleb Plant was trying to trick him. Nah, fuck that. Ain't no way in hell. I just told you was a cheating ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I just tried to slap you on a fucking stage. You two-piece me in my suit, and I'm gonna tell you I respect your skills. You're a great fighter. Give me a fucking break, man. And I feel like I'm winning the fight. You know what I'm saying? Listen. When I heard him say, "Oh, that's not bad for a 21 and 0 guy, huh?" I thought that's what he said. Period. I thought that's all he said. And when I heard the rest of it, give me a fucking break, man. Listen, I'm jabbing your ass. I'm jabbing you to death. I'm already jabbing you anyway. So I'm saying, nigga, take this computer raw. Nigga, take this computer raw to the motherfucking to the face. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? Like everybody had their own opinion about like what was happening in that fight, right? I didn't think Caleb was winning, but I thought he was in it. I thought he was in the fight. Now you got to remember that happened in the 9th round. So the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, that's 4 rounds. You know, I thought he was in it. So he made that statement while the fight was still up for grabs, in my opinion. If he pulls out the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's easy to say, well, Canelo was coming on and this, that, and the other. But with 4 rounds left, I thought the fight was maybe 5-3 Canelo. And I think one of the judges had to fight 6-4 at the end. Like, I didn't think it was totally out of grasp like that. You know, maybe I don't know. Maybe I bet on Caleb, and then maybe that's what it was.
Watch this. Watch this shit here. Watch this shit. I'm gonna fold my legs for this shit. Go ahead, Santos. Watch this.
What's up, Fred? What's up, Breadman?
How you doing, my man?
I'll talk to Cal later, man. Anyway, now Cal my dude, you know that. But now, yeah, he's right. I'm the homie out of Nashville that's gonna stand up for Caleb now and later on too. And I hear what you're saying, Breadman. You're right. Culturally, depending on your geographical upbringing, it's going to determine how you interact with people, how you may address somebody under certain circumstances. Now, Caleb, as long as I've been watching him, now I didn't know him in the streets. I'm much older than all you cats, but I didn't know Caleb in the streets. But everybody that has ever told me anything about Caleb here out of Nashville are all been brothers, and that's, you know, he's got a certain way he flows, his swagger, certain way, as we all see. But Caleb, as long as I've been watching him since the early part of his career as a professional, he's always been, even some of the videos that I've seen of him in his amateur fights, he's always been slick at the mouth with his opponents. He's always talked in the ring every time. Now, what all he said to these fighters over the years, I don't know. That particular fight, we know what he said because it was recorded. It was also part of the epilogue. But I don't think it was him giving way to Canelo or anything like that. I think he was trying to get Canelo to recognize his skill level as well as he was recognizing Canelo's skill level, but in a slick way. I think he was feeling confident that he was in the fight. Whether or not he felt he was winning or not, is another thing. But I think he felt he was in that fight, or he had given a good showing and had a good chance to finish that fight on his feet and make a good bid with the scoring cards. Of course, we saw something different at the end of the fight with the judges, but I don't feel any kind of way that was him surrendering, conceding, or anything like that. I just think it was all him being slick out the mouth and trying to get Canelo to admit to the fact that he had good skills himself, because he noticed, he said not bad for a 21-0 fighter, huh? That's the big thing. The big talks were the difference in the two fighters so much is the experience level, which was much greater on the Canelo end versus Caleb Plant. So it's not. I don't think now you probably have a point that I think what you said was pretty valid about Caleb having that conversation with him may have gave Canelo some extra juice mentally to go on in a little bit. I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. But I don't think in any way that Caleb speaking to Canelo was in his way of conceding in that fight. But I think Caleb should have kept his poise in that fight, stayed focused on the job and the task at hand, and kept the same energy throughout the 12 rounds. And he would have been a little bit better at the
I
end.
think that in the day and time that we're in, what we try to do is we give people explanations before they give themselves an explanation.
Right.
And I
That's
think
true.
that to be fair to Caleb, somebody that interviews like my man Fred has to ask Caleb, what exactly did you mean, if you do remember what happened? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
where were you coming from? I think one thing I hate about boxing interviews is that the mainstream media, like, they give a lot of softball questions, and I think that that's a very fair, valid question for somebody to ask Caleb. You know what I mean? Just like, where were you coming from, and what did you mean? Because I'm curious as an explanation. You know what I mean? I have no idea whether he was trying to disarm him or whether he just really meant, I respect your skills. Like, I don't know what he meant. You know what I mean? I'm curious to see what he meant by that. You know what I mean? Like I said, but I do think that when you make a comment like that, you gotta factor in the other side of that comment and how the person that you're talking to is going to take it. You know what I mean? Because some guys, Canelo's like kind of like a little bit of a bully. You know what I mean? He's a little bit of a heart taker. He's an animal. He's walking to you. He's a short guy. He's muscular. He's trying to intimidate you. He ain't the nicest guy in the world getting ready for a fight. So when you say something like that, you have to understand how he's going to take that. He's going to take that as like food. Like, all right, you know what I mean? So you just got to as a fighter, I don't know if Caleb thought about it that deep, whether it was a spur of the moment kind of thing. But as a fighter, you got to understand what you're up against. And, I would assume that if Caleb had the chance to do it all over again, he would have waited to after the fight to compliment Canelo instead of complimenting him.
A little bit close to the end of the fight before he says something, or like you said, after. Now, what I took from the fight after he made that statement, he had a good showing in the 10th round against Canelo. It wasn't no wash or nothing like that. He got caught early in the 11th, and it was a rest of history. I just feel, until we hear from Caleb, I just feel what I feel about that. I don't think anyway. I don't agree with what my brother son was saying about him, conceding and all of that. Caleb's not built like that mentally, in my opinion. He's never shown me that.
But Santos, how is getting slick at the mouth telling somebody, I respect your skills, you're a good fighter?
Well, see, I don't know about
slick at the mouth. There's nothing sarcastic about you telling the man that you respect his skills.
It could be an underhand compliment, bro. But I'm gonna tell you
what's
this.
underhand about I respect your skills? Just the most amazing thing you can do is respect somebody, bro.
We got other people want to come on.
Oh man, get your ass on, man.
What I'm gonna say
Matter of fact,
is be quiet, man. You're always doing that, man. Be cool. I want to ask the man another question. Now what I am gonna say, I've been in multiple fights, and I'm sure you probably I've seen a lot of people from where I'm from do stuff like that. So you say whatever you want to. Like I said, it could be a cultural thing. Now we talk when we fight. Now
Yeah, but you don't respect nobody's skills when you fighting on 10
We
toes.
done with you, Breadman.
Yes.
Bro, I want to commend you on the job you and your fighter did this past weekend against David Benavidez. Great fight.
Appreciate that.
My man, what's his name? Chiron.
Quran. The E is
Karan. I
silent.
thought it was somebody said Karan. I thought it was Karan. Hey,
It's
hell of a
Quran.
fighter, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I thought that he was robbed in that decision of a draw against the real. I felt that he won that fight,
I appreciate that.
and he's a great fighter, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the only second fight I've seen of him, but he won me over with the real fight as a fan. And the kid can fight, man. And I'm telling you, for him to go up from 160 to 168 and put on a show like that, he's something to be looked at. And I'm sure that Showtime's going to want to put this kid on again and break bread with him. So you guys did yourself well, and I know it hurt you to your heart, my man. You did what you felt was best for the love of your fighter. And my hats off to you. And at least your fighter understood where you guys were standing. You let him know how you seeing things before that happened. Everything was on the square, man. No one can question what you did. You did a great job. It took a lot of heart and a lot of courage to do what you did. And that kid, like he said, he didn't want to stop. But sometimes we got to save our fighters. You know what I'm saying? But that kid did a great job, man. And you're right. Everything. I listened to you this morning when you did the interview, and I've been listening to you tonight. And everything you were saying about David Benavidez as far as how smooth he flows and stuff like that, that's his skill. That is his skill, bro. And he's a great fighter. And Jamal's probably got a little more. I'm not gonna say Jamal has necessarily more bang in his punch than Karan. I know he's not quite a few people out, but I mean he's had more opportunity too. Karan is a tough kid. He's got a chin. He showed it. And he's got a hell of a heart. But I don't think that Charlo punches flow as easily as Karan. I think what you said earlier about him, having a certain format of how he punches, as far as Charlo, I think you're 100% right on that, and that's what's going to hurt him against the likes of a Benavidez, because a lot of people ain't ready for that flow. That flow is vicious, and it's coming with some power behind it. I mean, it might not be that supercalifragilisticexpialidocious type of power, but I'm telling you, man, that kid's punching heavy. And it's enough to keep you on at bay and make the referees want to stop the fight. So he's got something special until somebody can clip him real good, which we haven't seen him hurt too much.
I want to see him at 160.
That's
what I want to see.
Why you want to see David Benavidez at 160? That doesn't make sense.
Are you high?
No, he's
talking about Karan Davis, man. Karan
I was
Davis.
just talking to him about he is at 160. Oh, you said you want to see him fight somebody the same way? Oh yeah, he'd be great. I thought you don't switch the mode on the thing, man. I was talking about David Benavidez at that last little part of my statement to the bird. Yeah, you play me if you want to, bro. But anyway, Karan, man, he's a great fighter, man. I really think you guys did a great job, man. And it's good to hear that you and J Rock are probably going to be bringing that show back together, man. I really appreciate that, man. I think you guys are perfect gel with one another. It's great when you know someone and you have trust in one another. You bring the best out of each other.
Man. I appreciate that.
That's all I had, man.
Appreciate
hey, Cal,
you.
I can't wait you go to bed, bro. Can't wait you go to bed. Night. Don't worry, y'all. He going to bed early anyway. He can't stay up. He can't hang. All right, appreciate
that. What's your take on Tank Davis? Tank Davis and Isaac Cruz, and first Rolly. What's your take on Rolly Romero and the Tank and them making the Tank Davis fight? And now,
you mean Rolly Romero as a fighter or his legal situation?
Nah, I mean, there's no point in talking about the legal situation. But like them making that fight a pay-per-view fight, and then him.
I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to sort of gauge where Tank is. You know, so he's at a stage right now, kind of like, remember where Floyd was at, where he was fighting Gotti on pay-per-view, like trying to see where he was at, you know, trying to gauge where he's at. I think that that's what they're trying to do. I think that that fight was going to be, because of the bad blood and how Raleigh fights, it was going to be like a violent type of shootout that the casual fans love. Because Tank is probably, I would say, Canelo, Deontay, Tyson Fury, Earl Spence. Then Tank, you know, fifth, sixth top star in boxing. He's a pretty big star. He does really good live gates. I think that that was like a casual fans kind of fight in LA. I think they're doing it on a Sunday night, which is a little different. I think they was trying to showcase him in it, you know, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, because I don't have a dog in the race, but the powers that be probably, you know, Tank knocked Raleigh out in a really good fight, because Raleigh was talking the fight up. Isaac Cruz might be a tougher fight though. You know, he's low to the ground, low center of gravity, and it's real weird, Fred. I was just talking about this fight, and I said, man, sometimes when short guys fight shorter guys, they have a hard time, and sometimes when tall guys fight taller guys, they have a hard time. And what I mean by that is Tank usually gets up under guys and hits them with shots up underneath that they never see. So now he's going to fight somebody that's getting up under him. And when you short, it's not really a disadvantage, because Tank's been fighting taller guys his whole life. So now he's going to be the taller guy in the fight. I still pick Tank by knockout. I think that Tank is really a dynamic fighter, and he has a case for being one of the top 2 or 3 punchers in boxing. I think it's him, Wilder, now Canelo. They like them elite punchers, Beater Bev. Tank's right up there, man. Tank got a vicious 2-fisted attack, and I think he's going to win by knockout. But I think it's going to be exciting, man. This little guy is he's coming to fight. He's a young guy. He means it. You know, it's going to be a good fight. I think that LA is going to well, that's your part of town, Fred.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's going to be exciting. I think
I'm-
it'll be a knockout. 2 trains colliding.
Yeah.
But I think Tank should win the fight.
I think it's a ripoff. I think it's what Floyd say, legal bank robbery. Legal bank robbery. Like, that fight should not be on pay-per-view. I think that would be a great showcase, Showtime fight. Put some shoulder programming around it, build Tank up that way, charge the fan $8.99 a month.
You know what though, Fred? I don't disagree with you as far as like doing a different platform or whatever, but I'm gonna tell you something funny, man. Sometimes guys get to a point where the regular license fees from the companies can't pay them no more. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's sometimes I hear people say, well, this fight or that fight shouldn't be on pay-per-view. Well, Tank is reaching a place where like the regular license fees is about $2-3 million for the A-side guy, right? Tank's reaching a point where he's past that. So he probably can't get paid like a regular guy no more. He don't, you know, the $2-3 million guys that are fighting on regular Showtime or regular Fox, Tank's past that now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's like kind of like where Earl is. I mean, you don't see Earl fight on regular Showtime no more either.
Yeah,
or regular fight. You know what I mean? So they at a different point where only pay-per-view can hold their purse. So that might be the situation. Like he's probably a $5-6 million kid now, and they don't pay that in license fees.
Right.
So, you know, nobody can pay him except the public at this point. Tank's a bigger star than people realize. He's a big star.
Yeah. Atlanta was crazy.
Yeah, he did a really good live gate. You know what I mean? He demands a certain kind of purse now. So you know, that's the only thing that I could think of. I've seen that happen with a couple of guys, you know, over the last couple of years. And he's happened to be one of them, you know, with the evolution of Wilder, you know, with Earl, and then now Tank. You know, I don't think nobody can afford him unless the fans pay now.
Wow.
So that's probably what it is.
Lawrence wants to know, can Breadman explain why Tank is fighting in LA as opposed to Atlanta or Baltimore or the Barclay, which is his base and guaranteed sellout?
I think that you gotta when you're trying to build a star, you gotta build them all over. I think he has done fights in Baltimore. I don't know every geographic of his fights, but his last fight was in Atlanta. So I think they're trying to weigh both coasts. You know, like I said, Fred, so much, man, they got to do that happens. Like, who knows what kind of site fee the Staples Center paid? You know what I mean? Obviously, it's on a Sunday, so they probably did it like in between the Lakers games, and he wanted to have like certain stars come to the game. So many things was lined up. So who knows? The Staples Center may have put up $2 million so they could cover some of the purse. You never know. You know what I mean? A lot of PBC is based out there. So when that kind of stuff happens, man, I usually don't question it because I know that it's for a reason, and they may have paid a huge site fee just to have the kid out there. And it makes sense, Raleigh, based out of Vegas. That's where that's who was going to originally fight. As a Latino kid, I'm not sure what I think he may be Cuban or whatever. And he may have got a nice number from the Staples Center to do it on a Sunday. And if it took care of a certain amount of the purses or whatever, it probably made sense financially. And then on top of that, you'll have some stars at the game. Who knows what they're charging for tickets? I mean, if they get a $2 million live gate, that covers some things, So it's basketball season, right? So who knows what the schedule of the other teams were and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? It's so much that go into that. I don't even trust me, they did it for a reason. They did it to make money. He got smart people behind them.
Right. Well, the Lakers and the Clippers play that Friday night. So
okay, well, see, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. So that probably makes sense. So I guarantee you guys like LeBron and them gonna be at the game and gonna be at the fight on Sunday.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that makes sense. I didn't know the schedule, but I know it's basketball season. So to hold something at the Staples Center, it can't be when the Lakers and Clippers are playing. So I figured it was an off night. So that's perfect.
Facts. What's your opinion on Floyd inserting himself in that corner?
You gotta ask Calvin Ford that. That's he's the head trainer. Some head trainers can handle that and some can't. I don't know. I don't know what kind of relationship they have in the gym. I did see it. You talking about the Mario Barrios fight?
Yeah, he did the fight before. He did it consecutive fights.
Yeah. Gotta ask Calvin Ford. That's never happened to me before. But he's the head trainer. I don't know what kind of relationship him and Floyd have, and obviously Tank looks up to Floyd. So that was interesting. When you get Calvin Ford on here, let me know because I will have to see what he
ducking.
That happened to me.
Calvin Ford ducking the fade, man. I done reached out to him. He won't.
Oh, really? Okay. See, I don't know, man.
Fred, he done pissed everybody off and shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So if you
Calvin
don't love Fred, like how you love Fred, we ain't gonna see you. You know what I mean?
Calvin is a cool guy though, man. He real nice guy. He real nice guy, man. He real cool. You know that movie The Wire or the show The Wire, one of the characters was based on him, man.
Yeah, I know. I just told it like when the first time I saw Floyd do it, and I saw him holding the mitts. I saw him holding the mitts in the back against Leo Santa Cruz. I'm like, and he was dressed up in his diamonds. I'm like, oh, something's up here. And then Brian Custard came on the show. He's like, I don't know who's training Floyd. I mean, I don't know who's training Tank. Those were his words. And I'm like, and then I come on the show and I'm like, man, Calvin Ford compromised his corner. And people like, nah, Floyd's an expert. He's a maestro. He's 50-0. I love paying for Floyd. I done paid $10,000 supporting Floyd. Floyd could do no wrong. I'm like, no, this is a grown man and this is his corner. This is like his house. You can't just insert yourself in another man's corner like this. And so people hated me and disagreed with me. And now this fight, Barry Hunter is his lead trainer. So I was like,
wow.
Well, Tank saw it. I mean, Yeah, Tank. I mean, you can't let yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
Everybody's different. You know, I see guys, you know, go work out with other coaches and do things like that. That's everybody has their own opinion about stuff like that. I'm curious to see how Tank and Calvin Ford feel about it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because that's, you know, like I've been in the gym, right? And I've seen like guys come over to other guys and they be working them out and like they start yelling instructions and stuff like that,
Mm.
you know, to different guys' fighters. I personally never do it. I always stay in my lane. You know what I mean? You know, if I hear of a fighter, you know, like I want to bring this guy in or bring that guy in. If they don't come to me with it, I'll be like, oh, you can go be with them. You know, but that's just how I am, you know, but I don't really know, you know what I mean? I've never been in that dynamic before. I don't, so I, it's very interesting. I understand exactly where you're going with it, but I don't know. I think I heard somebody ask Calvin about it one time and he said it was, you know, everybody respect each other. Everybody has their own input, so it's no big deal. So I don't know. You know, maybe that was a while ago. I'm more curious is how Javante feels about that because he's the fighter, and the fighter can kind of, you know, let that stuff perpetuate, or they can nip it in the bud. You know what I mean? It could go both ways. Like I'll tell y'all a quick dynamic. Y'all got me up now, man. So, uh, uh, like you're not supposed to call other fighters about sparring. So let's just say you know Sugar Shane, right? So let's just say like I wanted my guy to spar Shane. I'm not gonna call Shane on the phone and say, hey, can we get some work? I'm gonna call Shane's trainer or manager to set up the work because there's like a gym etiquette. You know what I'm saying? So like, and if I call Shane and be like, well, you need to work out with me, or you hit the pads with me, or you do this, or you do that. Shane could easily say to me, Brad, you're not my trainer. No offense, but I got my guy. And that's over with at that point. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like your woman. Like after somebody approach her, if she says, you know, I'm with Fred, I don't do that. I don't care who you are. It's the end of the story. So I'm curious of how Javante feels about other trainers coming in and things like that, because they may have like that kind of like open relationship where everybody could like offer their opinion, and Calvin don't have you know, he's not into that. I know he had an assistant trainer. I think the guy name was Kenny Ellis. He's a really good trainer too. They came up and sparred our guys in Philly before. He's a sharp trainer. So I don't know. It's interesting. You know what I mean? I don't really like I said, you gotta ask them, man. I would be curious to see the explanation too.
I may go to the weigh-in. I don't know. I may go to the weigh-in just for shits and giggles. What about Thurman? You think that's Tank's next victim? What the hell is going on with Thurman, by the way?
You know what, man? Y'all probably gonna laugh at me, but I think Tank would beat Thurman.
We ain't laughing at you.
I think he would beat Thurman. I know people think it's a big size difference, but I would pick Tank to beat Thurman.
What? We ain't laughing at you. We ain't Fred. Come on, bro.
You would
y'all agree or disagree?
Listen. If you think I don't like Sean Porter, listen. If you don't, listen, man. If you don't think I like Sean Porter, just imagine how I feel about Keith Thurman. It's like 20 million times amplified. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you agree with me?
Oh man, we're not a bat of an eye.
I think Tank beats Keith Thurman.
Wow.
He's too weak to his body, man. His body, his mind ain't right. His hair is terrible. I mean,
you guys gotta realize something, man. Tank is a very strong and explosive kid, right? So he comes down from about 160, 165, right? So he'll just stop at 47 and fight Thurman without cutting the extra weight. In another era, he would be a welterweight anyway. Keith Thurman is a guy that's been fighting one time a year in his prime for the last 6 or 7 years. Like, just think about it. He's always taken off. He He beats Danny Garcia, takes off a year. Beats Sean Porter, takes off a year. Lose to Manny Pacquiao, takes off 2 years. I don't think, I don't know if his injuries are disinterest in boxing or what. He's not going to beat a fighter like Tank Davis with that type of inactivity or whatever mentality or whatever is going on with him in his life of why you're taking off in your prime this often. A fighter's prime years 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and he's just not fighting. And meanwhile, Tank's 27 years old. He's fighting. He's getting better. He's a brutal puncher to the head and body. He puts a lot of pressure on you. I know on paper it would look like, Thurman's too big or whatever, but I think Tank would beat him and most likely stop him.
Well, he did say when he sparred Porter, he says, Porter know who's the big dog. And I called someone that was in the gym today. And I mean, the day of the sparring, and they said, well, we thought Porter had more skills, so basically they're going to tell me their side of the story anyway, but that's basically what they said, that he's going to do what he do. He's better. And Porter's just he's a remote control car that fell off the tracks and just.
So they thought Porter had more skills, or they thought Tank had more skills?
No, Tank's team said they thought Porter had more skills.
Okay.
So obviously he was probably hitting him with some straight shots and whatever. Basically, he could have done it, but they not sparring hard anyway. Sean is a week out. Tank is 2 weeks out. They ain't doing no sparring. But you got a guy that's fighting on the 27th, man, Stevie Fulton, in your hometown.
Steven's not my guy.
No, not your guy, but your city guy.
Yeah, actually, that's my little dude. That's a tough fight. I told you, man, our gym was stacked. At one time, Stephen Fulton, Julian Williams, Karan Davis, Joshua Jones, all those kids was amateurs turning pro. Everybody was all in the same gym. Stephen Fulton got a tough fight versus Omar Figueroa, man, in Vegas. I'm happy for him. I actually, the kid that I'm telling you that sparred Sugar Sheen was actually in Stephen Fulton's camp for this fight. So he's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a hell of a fight.
Yes. Y'all call him Stephen Fulton, but we call him Scooter.
Yeah.
He's an action guy. He throws a lot of punches. Hey Fred, this might be the most fit kid that I've ever seen. We have this run in Philadelphia from Penn's Landing to 63rd Street. There's no such thing as East Philadelphia. If you ever hear somebody say they're from East Philadelphia, they not really from Philly.
On the playground where I spend most of my day. Yeah.
But there's no such thing as East Philadelphia. It's only north, south, and west. East Philadelphia is the river. There is no East Philadelphia. But this is as far as east you can go is Penn's Landing. And we will run from Penn's Landing to 63rd and Market, which is West Philly. And Scooter Fulton could run the whole city. This is no lie, in like 37, 38 minutes. And it's uphill. He has a gas tank. He would beat all of the other fighters by like 2 blocks. Wow. He can run, man. He's a very, very fit kid. He has a high level of fitness. And that's like a 6-minute mile. That's like 6-minute miles uphill. And I watched him do it. I would be in the car riding behind him like, God damn, that kid can really run, man. He's a really fit kid. I'm looking forward to that fight. That's going to be a good fight, good action-packed fight.
I'm truly excited for that fight. I'm looking forward to potentially
Fight of the year.
Say it again, please.
I said fight of the year. That got a chance to be the fight of the year.
Yeah, it's sad that not sad, but it's just how boxing is, that 122s don't get the respect that they deserve.
I know. Because Brandon Figueroa brings it.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't got enough, man.
Yeah.
He ain't got enough to fuck with Scooter though, man. Hell no.
I think that Scooter is gonna win the fight, but I think he's gonna have to earn it. I think it's gonna be a tough fight.
He too smart, man. He too sharp. His jab is too good, man. Figueroa's too slow. Only thing he got is he come forward, and that ain't enough to beat Cool Boy, man. It just ain't enough.
Yeah, that fight is November 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and I think that is a strong fight. So what do you think Terrence Crawford will do next? You think he'll slide over to PBC, or you think he'll remain?
I think that he might play the free agent role.
I think that's the best role for him.
Yeah, he's 34. I think everything should be a one-off. If I was in his position, I would just do one-offs and just get high guarantees. I mean, it worked. It worked for Mikey Garcia, and it's working for Canelo. It should work for him.
Man, Mikey Garcia, man, he's a fraud, man. Mikey Garcia, I mean, salute to him but he got away with robbery. He got a $7 million guarantee. He got the Earl Spence fight. Man, he played it. He played it, man, and he went off.
Hey, man, I mean, listen, that kind of stuff works for a guy like Crawford, because when you're sitting at the table, you could bring that up. Like, y'all gave that to him, and I'm better than him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, sometimes people hate on different things, but that's a way you can. If I'm sitting at the table, Fred, that's like you buying a house and somebody else, the same house down the block go for $100,000. You're gonna look at the guy and say, you gotta give it to me for $100,000. Right. If I'm Terrence Crawford, I sit right at the table and be like, look what y'all did for Mikey Garcia. Yeah. And I'm willing to fight anybody in the stable.
And I'm way better.
That's exactly what I would say.
I tell people it's hard. It's like I've been blessed to be up close and personal to a lot of different situations, and he can pretty much do whatever he want at Top Rank. It's kind of hard to just leave. People don't understand, like, he can't fight Earl, this and that, but like the lifestyle that he's afforded, you know what I'm saying? The moves he get to make.
No, listen, you are right. Even down like people in this business, we are creatures of habit. Even down to like, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all know this. Like, fighters in their team, right? You get per diems when you get there. It might sound corny because you think everybody got money. You know, the first thing I do when I get to a city, I call and be like, yo, where my team per diem? You might get $300 or $100 a day or whatever to go eat or whatever. You find that out. You get certain type of flights. You get certain type of hotel rooms. You get certain amenities, certain things that you get when you with your company that you comfortable with. And you right. That's why I never get into who should go where and who should go there. It's certain things that I'm comfortable with. It's certain people that I can call when I get to LA or when I get to a certain city and I know certain things and I need certain things that my guys need or I may need personally. And you are right, man. You the first person who ever said that. That's why I never say nothing about why Terrence don't leave, because it's certain things that Top Rank has given him and done for him, man, that he's comfortable with. And it's not always just money. Sometimes it's like a peace of mind and a livelihood that get afforded to you with the comfortability factor of their company, their people, their publicists, how they do different things for you. And you're right, man. You know what I mean? So, man, that was a hell of a statement, man. It really is, because a lot of people just don't like, I'm comfortable with PBC. I'm not saying I could never have a guy with another company, because I do. I got a guy with Main Events, but I'm comfortable with certain things. There's certain things that I'm just comfortable with, man. It's just, man, fans just don't realize that part of the game, man. You know, you sleep better at night when you got that comfortability factor.
Right.
Yeah, I've been telling people, like, and it's like, and then you got to think about this. Most of us that grew up in the hood, we got a loyal bone that we just can't shake. Bob Arum has afforded that man to take care of his whole entire family. You know what I'm saying? He believed in him when nobody else did. He put money, millions in that. He changed that nigga whole family life. So it's hard.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't disagree with that. But Bob Arum be making some statements. I'll be like, geez.
I feel you.
I'm just saying, the envelope sometimes, man. I'll be like, nah, God, you can't say certain things. Yeah. But Bob Arum probably feel like he 90. He playing with house money. He don't his days is numbered, so he could care less who he offends. You gotta be careful making those kind of statements, though, man. He makes some statements that you question sometime, you know. But it ain't my business because it ain't my fighter. But he's definitely made a couple of statements about Crawford, and I'm like, damn, did he really say that? He might lose his best guy. You know, obviously you don't care.
And let me tell you this: people don't understand. It's not just Terrence Crawford. When you got 5 different fighters under the
And you
same,
bring them all to the same company, yeah.
you can't just say fuck Bob Arum, because then you fucking up Steven Nelson, you fucking up Jamel Herring. You know what I'm saying? You fucking up other fighters that they got. So it's like you can't just say.
Listen. You preaching, my man. You are so right. You are preaching. I just told you earlier tonight, when I got Julian Williams signed, a couple years later, Karan Davis came over and I got him signed. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then I got another kid signed. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is you got all your guys. If you notice that most trainers have their guys, 90% of their stable are with the same company. And that's for a reason, because it's a comfortability factor. You are 100% right, man. 100% right. Like a lot of K. Karama guys, he's a really good trainer out of the DMV area. He got Shakur Stevens. A lot of his guys is with Top Rank. You know why? Because of the comfortability factor. And his number one gun is Shakur Stevenson. So what you do is you just bring your guys to that comfortability factor, to the people that you used to working with. And you're right, man. I mean, obviously contracts run out and guys leave companies, but man, that's a great point. It's a great point, man.
Yeah, I just think when someone compares you to a mansion, like, you gotta respond. I think you gotta respond as much as you can. Can you take us behind the veil as to what goes on behind the scenes at PBC and making the fight and the options and how fights are presented to y'all? And
well, I could give you with Julian Williams because that's the top guy that I've had.
Yeah.
Like let's say the Jarrett Hurd fight. I knew we was gonna fight Jarrett Hurd ever since 2018. Hurd fought there was Nandy Lara, and we fought Nathaniel Gallimore, and we both won our fights that night. And I was told after that,
on the same card.
Same card, you're right. Yep, right, you're right. So that night, I knew that we would fight Jarrett Hurd. So what they did was they kept us on the same schedule. If you remember, Hurd fought like a English guy from a guy from the UK on the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder card, and Julian fought on like a pay-per-view international broadcast against a Mexican guy early in the night that night. So they wanted to keep us on the same schedule all the way up, and then we was presented with, the money, and the money's always over market value. And I just made a couple adjustments as far as the contract moving forward. If we win, obviously that's a huge variable. And I got everything I wanted. And I was told that the fight was going to be in the DMV. So, we had to sweeten the pot. And you know what? I'm a pretty easy guy to make a deal with, though, man. I don't break deals. I make deals. Because Julian wanted to fight. We had lost our first title shot. So what I did was I just made sure that he would be financially set if we won that fight. And we did. So the contract kind of like covered him as far as losses, title defenses, whatever. He was pretty much set. So, and that was just that. I can't really speak on everybody else's deal because this is not standard. Everybody negotiates different. One thing that I always look forward to is being able to negotiate the purse of if I win and then if I lose, Fred, because you got to get covered. When you take a tough fight, you got to make sure that you got something to fall back on if you lose the fight. Right. So one of the things that I always say is, man, look, this is a tough fight. What do I get if my guy lose? Do I get certain amount of money in a certain amount of time? And I've always been able to get it. I'll even take a little bit less on the front end to make sure that next fight is even better. So I'm pretty good at negotiating contracts. My guys eat pretty well, so I mean that's pretty much what it is. When you coming up, you get like a plate of maybe like 3 or 4 guys, and you know, and you pick the best guy for you at the particular time, and that's just that, you know. But with the PBC, you always getting paid over market value. That's why, you know, most guys don't really leave, because the money is good compared to the other. I mean, we all got friends at other companies, so you
Right.
kind of look and see what they make for certain fights, and you're like, damn, you know, we're getting about 20% more, and you know, so you ride with that.
Right. Right. And um is so when you do these fight deals, is just to reiterate what you're saying, it's to one, to protect the fighter, but to guarantee that your career doesn't end with that one
Yes,
move of taking the risk.
that's like I've had to take some risks with my guys. I haven't always been the A side. So, like, one of the things that you do, I'm like, well, my guy is the underdog in this fight. Can we get taken care of in the next fight? What's the fight after that?
Right.
And also, Fred, you know, it's the top side is, if my guy wins, what do we get? You
Mm-hmm.
know, what's the next fight? You know, or what amount of time is it going to be in, and what's the purse? Best deal I ever did was J Rock after he, you know, before he beat Jared Hurd. That's the best deal I ever did. It kind of like covered him pretty much for the rest of his life.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
You
it
know
was
what
a
I
good deal.
respected? You know what I respected about you though? Uh, when I know it was either you was on live or I know you was in the car with Fred, and you were saying how J Rock sees 80% of the money that he makes.
Mm.
And I just said, man, that's something special. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But a lot of
I
people a lot
you know,
more.
man, a lot of these guys come home with 50 cent on the dollar, man, and they got investors, and they got all these people that's in their pocket early in their career, and then they got these sob stories, and they say, well, everybody's taking money from them, but what they don't realize, fellas, is that, you know, when you take money, you have to pay money back, and you know, no businessman is going to invest in a fighter and then, you know, watch the fighter make $1 million and not take his money back. So you hear all these horrible stories, but what the fighter leaves out is that they took money early in their career. Most of the time, they don't want to work. So what they do is they get on some type of stipend, and somebody pays their bills for them, and it adds up: rent, electric, water, clothes, food, whatever. You're talking about sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars before you get to a certain point. Well, with Julian, I just told him, like, don't worry about nothing. I got you. My fee not gonna go up. I'll make sure you take your bills, pay your bills, just train your butt off. Whenever he would need a little job, I would get him like little construction jobs, making $100 a day, just breaking rocks up. It was nothing crazy. He not that good with his hands, no way. You know what I mean? And he would get that until he got into like his 5-figure purses. Once he started making like 10, 15 grand, he didn't need it no more after that. But when he was making $1,000, $2,000, you know, I made sure everything was straight with him. And man, that's you supposed to want to set guys off in life. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like I do the same thing for Quran. Like, I don't take a lot of money from these guys. You know what I mean? I just don't. I want to see them. Quran's about the franchise of Popeyes. You know what I
Really?
mean? So, yeah. So I actually took a
Wow.
little bit less money just so he could have some extra money, just so he could franchise his Popeyes, and he's about to open up a Popeyes in Wilmington, Delaware.
That's
So
that's
that's
fucking.
I just like to see if these it shows I'm gonna get my blessings, man. You know, like one day I might not be here. Somebody gonna have to do this stuff for my kids. So I feel like that a good team, you make sure that the guy comes home with between Julian had a rare case because he only had me. He didn't have anybody else. So I had to do everything. So it was easy for him to come home with 80% of his money. But a good team, you're supposed to come home with 70 to 80% of your money. That's the way it should be, you know. If you're being fair with everybody, and but common math and common sense, and then you got a lot of vultures in this game, and then you got fighters who don't understand that people are making an investment in them, And when you take that money early, you got to pay it back. And a lot of times guys don't understand it. And I'm just not like that, man. I had money when I came into this game. So it was no need for me to try to bleed any type of fighters or anything I ever, anything I ever did for them. So there was no need for me to walk around trying to take 20, 25, 30%. Some of the stuff is just ridiculous that guys get taken for. So I got my blessings, man. I made a lot of money in boxing. You know what I mean? I don't work for free, but I'm just not a greedy guy and take that kind of stuff from these kids. These kids getting brain damage, man. You know what I mean? They getting brain damage. Most fighters got ADHD. They're addicted to their cell phones. They can't stop staring. They getting hit on. You know what I'm saying? So they supposed to make a lot of money. And I just always believe that. And because of that, Julian may not have made more than everybody, but I bet you he came home with a bigger percentage than everybody. You know what I'm saying? So his net was a lot higher than a lot of guys' net, where their gross may be higher than his, but not their net. You know what I mean? So I take pride in that, man. I take pride in what I did for Karan. Karan never made $1 million, but he's going to be a restaurant owner real soon, and I'm proud of that kind of stuff, man. I don't talk about it, but it's definitely something I'm proud of, that they're going to be okay after boxing.
Are you happy that they've taken on some of your characteristics in terms of ownership, in terms of independence?
I am, Fred, but honestly, man, I'm going to tell you something. I am, but I hope that it keeps them hungry, because they don't really need boxing after you start making money outside of it. You know what I'm trying to say? So I hope it don't take the hunger away that they can make so much money outside of boxing. Sometimes I wish, not that I didn't show them how to do certain things, but sometimes I kind of wish that they just wasn't so involved so early. Like, Karan's only 27. He's going to have his own Popeyes.
Wow.
That's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? He got it for a good deal. He was like going over the deal with me out Phoenix. Like, as soon as I get home, man, I'm buying them. You going to come to the grand opening? I'm like, yeah, man. And like, I just hope that it don't not make him hungry. Like Julian, like, got brand new Porsche. I'm telling you, he got like 10 houses now, man. Just bought another building. Got condos that he does Airbnb with. Sometimes that might take your hunger away. You know what I'm saying? So, because somebody asked me, like, man, do you think you spoiled them in a way where they don't need boxing no more? And I said, I don't know. I hope I didn't, but it's a possibility. You know what I mean? So that's a great question, Fred. But I hope they can just remain hungry. I'm just going to say that. You know what I mean? I'm glad that they did do it, and I'm proud of them for that. But at the end of the day, they made their bones in boxing. So I want them to stay loyal to boxing for a couple of more years before they go off into the sunset and, do these other things.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'd rather own a Popeyes than get punched in my goddamn head by David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real with you. Like,
listen.
You've been able to
set
man, guys up,
you
man.
preaching to the choir. That's the issue. My wife tells me, like, you know what? You might have spoiled them boys. You don't take a lot of money from them. You do everything for them. You might have spoiled them, and that it's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? It is. It's a double-edged sword that like, listen, Karan might not take the punches that he took against David Benavidez and be able to walk through that fire once that Popeye start rolling and he making $30,000, $40,000 a month. That happens. You know what I'm saying? It happens, man. And unfortunately, that's the game that we in. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you again, Julian Williams said to me, I gotta suffer more. You haven't made me suffer long enough in a while. He looked at me and said that while we were running, like, I need to suffer. And this is a man who's a millionaire. So it happens, man. You know what I mean? But I don't know the answer for that. I really don't know how, either I show them how to make that money or I don't show them how to make the money and somebody take them for bad. I don't know how to go in between with that. I think I'm a pretty smart guy, but I don't know how to balance that. You know what I mean? They gotta find a discipline and a hunger within and keep pushing until it's really over. Because it ain't over for neither one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But y'all asking me some good questions, man. You know what I mean? And I've actually had these talks with people, and people have constantly accused me, like, man, you love them boys too much, do too much for them, you give them too much. They not hungry. They're not gonna be this. They're not gonna be that. Especially more of those comments is more towards Julian than Karan, but it's been towards both of them. And I just be like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, you know.
You know, and the thing is, man. See, and this is the thing about it. At the end of the day, fans don't give a fuck. When J Rock is 60 years old, these fans ain't gonna give a fuck about him or his family. You know what I mean? They're not gonna give a fuck. Hell, we don't give a fuck about fighters that lose one fight. So you know, fuck that. I love what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, yeah, boxing is cool, but boxing is notorious for raping and hoeing out the fighters and the fans. So what you're doing is absolutely amazing. If you could put them them in a position to not have to box, because every boxer that I talk to, I ask them, hey man, you want your son to box? They say, man, hell no. So it's obvious you put them in a position so their kids don't even have to touch boxing. So you're doing a great job at that. Now you said we asked you some hard questions, right? I gotta ask you an even harder question. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I spent a lot of time in Philly, so I know a lot of Philly trainers. You gotta give me your top 5 Philly trainers right now.
Right now.
Okay. Ever or current?
We going current. You can give me your 5, and then I'm gonna give you my 5.
Okay, current. This is in no order. Let me think. Stephen Breadman Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Bozy Ennis.
Mm-hmm.
Angel Garcia.
Okay.
Rasheem Jefferson.
Okay. That was yeah. You know, that's definitely my 5.
Chino Rivas.
We was close. We was close. We off by a couple. But we was close. We was close.
You know what? And listen, man, I gotta go with guys that had guys on the big stage. You know, like people talk about Angel Garcia. Danny Garcia fought a lot of pay-per-view fights. He won 2 world titles in 2 divisions. Like a lot of coaches, like Philly, we're a city of haters, right? Like everybody wants to be a micromanage and criticize everybody. But ain't no trainers in the city made the money Angel had or had the platform he had with Danny. And Danny not the most talented fighter. So for whatever you say about Angel, he did something right. You know, Bozy Ennis, his other 2 sons with just contenders. Boots look like he gonna be the real deal. But Bozy 20 years older than me, man. And he in the gym all day sweating and grinding, doing his thing.
Beautiful.
Rasheem Jefferson is a younger guy, right? But I've never seen nobody that could do the pad work that he do. He could do pad work for like 40 rounds. You would think he on PEDs. I never seen nothing like it. He work his butt off. He worked with amateurs. He worked with pros. Who else did I say? Chino Rivas. He like really from Jersey, right? But he trained Philadelphia area. He got Tevin Farmer and Jason Sosa. Both was world champions. Neither one of them had great amateur careers, and both of them started out their careers really, really bad. And he got them the world titles. And coaches hate on him all the time, but you got to get a man some type of credit. You know how hard it is to win a world title, and he got 2 of them. He's the only coach in the city right now that had 2 world champions. And me, I got the best win in our city since Bernard beat
Trinidad.
Nobody has a performance like Julian had against Jared Hurd, especially as the underdog going to his hometown as a fight, 6-1 underdog. Everybody think his career over, and we go down there and put on a masterpiece. And he got knocked out in his first title fight. Nobody has done that. And I'm saying this in a humble way, but like that gotta be the top 5. It has to be. You know what I'm saying? And we got a lot of trainers in the city. We got a lot of haters, and we got a lot of super critics. But to me, that's the top 5. You know what I'm saying? And I hope I didn't offend nobody. I got a lot of homies in the city or whatever. But that's Nazem. Nazem is deceased. That's why I specifically asked you that.
Yeah,
Nazem is deceased. So, that's just, in my opinion, that's just what it is.
I gotta throw Greg, my boy Greg Hackett in there though, man.
Oh, that's my guy. That's my guy. Greg is my guy.
I gotta throw Georgie in there.
Listen, Greg is my guy, but who do you take off? Greg is kind of young. Greg's like only about, you know what I'm saying? Greg kind of young. That's why I love Greg. If it was a top 10, I would put Greg in there. But who do you take off? You know what I'm saying? You can't take off somebody that built the world champion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You just can't, because the top level reveals all. You know what I'm saying? So I love Greg, though. That's my man. I got nothing but love for Greg.
As you can tell, your boy being Philly, man.
Yeah. So go ahead. Who's your top 5?
We damn near got the same 5. I gotta go real. You know what I'm saying? Basically, whoever he touched, they turn into gold. I mean, it don't matter if they lost 100 fights. He get them, and they whole life turn around. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go with the cheat code. My boy Greg Hackett, of course. I think he's a master teacher. I think anytime he's in any camp, he makes the fighter the fighter better. Bozy Ennis. I mean, Farad, he could have won a world title, but he didn't really. I don't think he was as hungry as Boots is. And we know Pooh. You know what I'm saying? And of course, John Ennis is a beast. And then he got a grandson that's gonna be a fucking monster. And then I gotta go. I gotta go with my dog. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go with the man with all the bread. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I gotta go with my guy. What you did Saturday night? I mean, we talking about. I'm not even talking about the game plan or anything like that. The way you were able to pull greatness out of your fighter when nobody could even see him getting out that round, in which you told him, listen, man, I can't see you like this. You know what I'm saying? In so many words, I got so much love for you. I can't see you like this. If you don't show me something, I gotta stop it. I got to. You know what I'm saying? And he went out that next round and gave it everything. And then you let him keep. He got through that round, and then the next round it was like we thought he was gonna get stopped again. No, hell no. And then you had to stop it. So being able to get that out of a fighter with those odds against him, I gotta put you in there. And then J-Rock, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? That's my man, 100 grand, pots and pants. He was in the documentary that I did, so I gotta, I gotta show him some extra love. And that fight against Jared Hurd, nobody thought he was gonna beat Jared Hurd. I didn't think he was gonna beat Jared Hurd. You know what I'm saying?
Neither did Fred.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
I'm just gonna pick up his uniform, and I'm like, J-Rock, I don't know.
Hey, I'm telling you, listen. If there's one thing about me, I'm gonna keep it real with you, whether you in my face or behind your back. I got to tell you what I'm saying. I thought Jared Hurd was gonna run through him, right? And as I'm watching this fight, I'm going, "Oh shit, this motherfucker is special." Because like when I've seen him versus Charlo, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, he's a great fight. He's a good fighter. But when I seen him versus Jared Hurd, I seen a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? Because you never seen nobody manhandle Jared Hurd like that.
Let me tell you something about that camp. I'm gonna tell you something about that camp that I didn't really talk about. I hired a MMA wrestling coach for that camp because
I
knew
boom! I see it.
I knew that Herb was gonna be like coming, and everybody thought Julian was gonna run. So I got him some 60-minute sessions with Eddie Alvarez to like get his grappling and stuff done because that like builds a different strength than boxing.
Yeah.
And I knew that we couldn't move away from him because I thought he would wear Julian out if Julian moved too much. So I knew we had to fight him a certain kind of way. And I secretly hired the wrestling coach. Nobody knew about it. I didn't tell nobody. I just was like real on the low with it.
Why'd you get away from that?
Huh?
Why'd you get away from that?
I mean, me and Julian separated for 2 years after that. You know what I'm saying? But for that fight,
it was after the Rosario fight?
After the Rosario fight, we separated for 2 years. He didn't come back to me till 5 weeks before this last fight. I hadn't even seen him. So I hired a wrestling coach though to get his strength on the inside and stuff. And he was grappling and squeezing her and he tore him up. Nobody noticed that, but he was actually stronger than her for that fight. And I want to say this, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or nothing. I don't like to get into the best and stuff. I only answered that question because you asked me. But man, some coaches have to take fights that other coaches don't take. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of easy to win fights when you got like a certain dog in the race. Mm-hmm. But the true mark is I want to see you win a fight where everything is against you and you pull that fight out and you don't have the best fighter. That's a little different kind of fight. And when I hear people like say who's the best coach in the world, like in boxing, I always say, listen, I don't want to get into that. I just want to see him win a certain kind of fight. There's a certain kind of fight because we can't help with dog we got in the race. But I want to see you pull out a certain kind of fight before we start having those particular talks. If every fight you got all the advantage and you got the best and the most talented guy, you might be a great coach. But it's a little different to have to put Karan Davis in the ring with David Benavidez. It's a little different to have to put Karan Davis in the ring at 15-2 versus Anthony Durrell moving up a weight division on 5 weeks' notice. It's a little different to have to put Julian Williams in the ring against Jared Hurd in Fairfax, Virginia with that crowd and the marching bands and everybody laughing and talking shit. It's a different circumstances, man. So I just, and I'm not saying I want everybody to have my role. I just like for the media, when they start saying this guy's the coach of the year, that guy's the coach of the year, I always be like, damn, man, like, y'all guys got to factor more in than just what y'all factoring in. Factoring in, first of all, factor in if you got any guys that's popping dirty. Second of all, factor in if you're taking fights as the underdog and can you win those fights or be competitive and have competitive performances. So I just, I just be wanting to like open the media's eyes to certain things. Like, what I think is good? Terrence Crawford's coaches.
You got 3 of them.
They took Jamel Herring, who's not the most talented guy, and he was a PBC castaway. They get him a title. He wins 3 title fights. He's 35, 36 years old, and they get him up to the mountaintop versus Shakur Stevenson. Can nobody beat Shakur Stevenson with Jamel Herring? The talent gap is too far. But that's the best they could possibly do. That's what you call squeezing every bit of talent out of somebody. Those are good coaches. Jamel Herring had 2 losses with PBC, and he was stopped. He was stopped by Shafikov. I was there. And they resurrected that kid's career. That's the mark of a really, 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 really good coach, man. So I just want to just say that. And I'm just talking about just all coaches. I'm not specifically taking a shot at nobody. I'll give you another one, Virgil Hunter. Virgil Hunter took Erislandy Lara to the brink with Alfredo Angulo. Angulo's not talented. He almost won that fight. He dropped Lara twice.
Dropped him.
You know what I'm saying? That's not easy. That's not easy. Listen, Mario Barrios is not like a super talent. He was giving Tank some trouble. I'm not saying he was winning. People say he was winning. I'm not saying that. But that was a pretty competitive fight. You know what I mean? So
you gotta see what a guy is when he's up against it as a coach. Can you come up with a game plan? Can you motivate? Can you do certain things? You know, that's basically what I'm trying to say. A lot of these coaches get to cherry pick who they guys is gonna fight, and you always had a better guy going in the fights. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you recognize certain things, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I'll give you Andrew Garcia. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you Andrew Garcia just because of what you said. You kind of won me over. I was thinking about going a different route, but I'm gonna concede. I'm gonna give you that one for sure. Just because we did with Danny Garcia, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, listen, I've been in the gyms with Danny. Danny's not the most talented kid in Philly. You know what I'm saying? He's not. There's a lot of kids more talented than Danny, but there's not a lot of kids who made it as far as he did. So Angel did something right. You know what I mean? Got to respect what he did.
Yeah, before we go too far, some Danny Garcia fans are gonna say, no, Amir Khan. That was the last big fight in Philly. He coming from way back and throwing that hook and knocking him out, you know. But
that performance wasn't better than Julian versus Hurd.
No,
Julian versus Hurd is a master class, bro.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, he was getting beat. Amir Khan was beating him, and I totally see
he damn near didn't lose a round, Fred.
No, I know, and to highlight both of y'all points is, I see the wrestling. I see it I see the wrestling now, especially when he knocked him down against the ropes. Just him, dude. That was like that was a Michael Jordan moment.
We was grappling him, Fred. We was grappling him and squeezing him and grappling him. Jared didn't even understand. I just, you know what Jared should have did? He should have listened to his coach. His coach Ernesto told him to leave Julian alone. He should have listened to him. You know, but he blessed this man with a title shot, and I respect it. But he should have just, man, we trained so hard for that fight, man. And I just had like the epiphany, because Julian is like a real high-strung guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He really is. He come off as like quiet and humble, but he's a hothead. And he kept saying like, Steve, I ain't running from this MFer. He's like, I'm not running from him. And I was like, all right. And I wanted to figure out a way, because I see what Hurd do. Hurd was like a snowball. He just come downhill and wear you out. And I was like, you know what, man? I got to get this kid some grappling and some wrestling. And when I say I didn't tell nobody, Fred. Nobody. Because I didn't want nobody to know what style we was going to fight. And I got him like some 60-minute sessions. And he was like, man, I was so tired. And I was like, that's good. Because he gonna be that tired in the ring when you pulling on him and locking his arms up and moving him around. His body not gonna know what it's like. You're gonna put him in a different state. And, you know, fortunately, Herb brought it like we thought he was. And we grappled him and smushed him and squeezed his muscles and twist and turn him. We did it all night, man. Yep. That's a true story.
Nah, that was, you know what's crazy, Fred? Remember I told you. People don't understand. This is why when they say this whole Sean Porter and Errol Spence thing, right? I got Errol Spence winning the fight. But what I keep telling people, Terrence Crawford is a wrestler by nature. He's a wrestler. So all that wrestling shit that they think Sean Porter gonna do, that's what I'm telling you. That's why he get knocked the fuck out. I had to get back to it because, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get to really dance with the Sean Porter shit as much as I wanted to. But the thing about it is, Terrence Crawford is a wrestler by nature. That's one of his main sports. So all that wrestling that Sean Porter think he gonna be able to do, rough him up and all that stuff, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work, man. That dude is strong as an ox, man, and he's a lot bigger than people think he is. Because when I met him the first time, I'm like, oh shit, motherfucker ain't that little like I thought he was. You know what I'm saying?
Terrence got freakishly long arms.
Man, he can scratch his ankle standing up.
Yep, he's only 5'8", but he's like your height is supposed to be your arm length. Like I'm 6'3", right? So my arms are about 77, so they're a couple inches longer. Terrence is 5'8", and he got the arms of a man that's 6'2". So he has a lot of range. People don't realize that he has really, really long. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but I would rather have more length than height. He has length. So it's gonna matter.
Yeah, I like Terrence like physical attributes, and it's definitely going to bode well against Sean Porter. But I want to make a point too. I follow Malik Scott, and he talked about the exact same thing about it's a skill to clinch and to grapple and to wrestle in the ring, and people take it lightly. And he be showing clips of fighters getting knocked out because they should be clinching and they don't know how to clinch, and so it must be a Philadelphia thing, you know. But speak to your point, that's genius. Like, I really see the clinching and him going side to side and staying on the inside. I thought, and yeah, Jared Hurd couldn't be the Blob that night. You know, he wanted to be the Blob, but he wasn't that night.
And Fred says that all the time. Fred says that all the time. He said, "Man, that's the best performance he's ever seen."
That's the
I
best,
mean,
man.
And we got a thing on this channel where we say Snack is overrated, but that night Snack looked good. You know what I'm saying?
Why y'all say Snack overrated?
Snack is a piece of shit. Snack is. I'm gonna put this mask on. You gonna run. We gonna show you these numbers. Oh yeah. We're monitoring your heart. Yeah, it's like the FDA. Like, yeah, you've gotten better since the last camp. They're fortifying those numbers, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I'm gonna tell you something about Snack, because we've been with him since I'm gonna say 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they can't fight for you, but they definitely taught me a lot. Like, Julian used to get sick in camps, right? I used to be like, why you keep getting sick, man? You coughing and sneezing all over the place. So I found out that he had deficiencies in iron and zinc. I would have never known it if they never did his blood work. And Karan, the last fight, true story, he said to me, he's like, Steve, man, you know, I wasn't in the best shape, but I was able to take David's punches. He was like, man, the way you rehydrated me, I could feel the water coming back on my brain, because I had to cut 16 pounds in 17 days. So, and I learned how to rehydrate from Snack. So, you know, I don't know what y'all say, but a lot of that stuff, like, you know, don't get me wrong, I don't get into the Bible as far as like a physical person, like everything that somebody say is 100% right. But I have learned a lot about sports nutrition, how to rehydrate fighters, what to look for when a fighter gets sick. I know you're pretty cool with Devin Haney and them, Fred. Like, Devin Haney's a big kid to make 135. You gotta know how to rehydrate him, or you're gonna have a problem. He got the size of he's Terrence Crawford size. I just was around him in Vegas. He's a big kid. I don't know how he makes that weight. So you definitely learn a lot about the rehydration and different things. And I'm a sponge when it comes down to that stuff. So I've learned a lot from them in that capacity. They've helped us a lot.
Well, they better get some wins.
But it is the trainer, but you know, we'll see.
All I'm saying is, folks be getting tired, man. You know,
what, in fights?
Yeah, maybe they need to come talk to you about hydrating their fighters, because Caleb Plant needed to be rehydrated like a motherfucker the other night.
Yeah, but you know what though, man? You can't blame that on the sports nutrition company. A lot of times guys get tired, man. I'm gonna tell you something. This is a true story. Right here, they mind burn out. You know what I'm saying? Caleb was in shape that fight. Mentally, you know, he was having some, you know, there's a lot of anxiety fighting Canelo. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't blame that on the company, not the trainer. You know, they tell you how to rehydrate and things like that, you know. But, you know, to each his own. I wouldn't blame that on Snack though, man. You know, Caleb can't get tired in the fight, you know.
Well, Sean Porter's a snack fighter, so we'll see.
Is he? Is he still a snack? Okay.
He got a patch, so maybe just paying, but I don't know.
No, they don't. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know if Sean was still with Snack. I know.
He typically has the patch. So.
I know Demetrius Andrade is, Caleb, J Rock. You know, I know about 10 guys that's with him.
Yeah, they ain't winning though. So Porter and Haney, it's definitely on them, man. Man, you been here 3 hours, man. Get
I know,
out of
man.
here, man. Man, you
I
been
know,
moving all
man.
around your house, man. You gave us a tour. You
I
know,
know, man.
you know what your
I had to
grandma
go in the
looked like.
basement. I had to go in the basement because my wife started yelling and shit that I'm gonna wake the kids up, man.
See, you have a
Let-
competitive advantage because your basement counts as square footage on the East Coast.
Yes, and y'all don't have basements, right?
Yeah, we do. I have a basement, but it's not counted towards my square footage.
Oh, get out of here.
Nah, it's not
Okay.
counted. So that blows because I got like a
But
pretty big
Fred,
basement.
they don't have their land though.
I don't either.
No, I'm saying, but like
he got a backyard. I ain't got no
no,
backyard.
but Fred, I think in Pennsylvania, y'all don't get the land, all right? Y'all get the house that's on the land, but y'all don't get the land itself.
No, I got a big piece of land in my house. Yeah, I'll show y'all my backyard one day.
No, I'm saying because my aunt, she owned a house in Philly, right?
Mhm.
And they said that the house was hers, but the city like owned the land in which the house is owned though.
Oh, I don't know about that, champ, because I own mine. I don't know.
And you own the air rights, so whatever that means, yeah.
Hey, y'all know I got to get out of here though, man. It's getting late.
I know it's late, man. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Breadman. Great guest, man. We totally appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
No, thank you, dog.
Hey, next time I'm in Philly, man, we got to link up.
Hit me up for sure, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. All right,
hey,
later.
Oh damn, he got to go. He got to go. We can't ask no more questions, man. The man got to go.
Go ahead.
Now I was gonna ask you, what's your favorite Philly cheesesteak spot? Is it the Poppy John or one of the other ones?
That's his answer. It froze. Appreciate you, Breadman. It gone, man. Thank you, man. Great show, man. God damn, we have 500 people in here all night. At least 500 people in here all night between both.
I thought about going live, man. I think I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go live. Fuck, man. I'm tired.
Go live and y'all probably can recap the show. Or what have you, man. Great show, y'all. I told you, man, this week gonna be the livest week. Oh, tomorrow and Thursday with Sean Porter. Okay, we dressing like Sean Porter. Thursday night when you beam in, you gotta look like Sean Porter, man. Let's have fun. Shit, David Letterman would have did it, right? So Arsenio Hall would have did it, right? So
I gotta go find me some terrible clothes, man.
We gotta do a Sean Porter. We doing Sean Porter. I'm gonna promote it tomorrow night. I'm gonna promote it. We're gonna have some fun, man. We're gonna have some fun in the barbershop. Hopefully the Porters don't get too mad. We ain't gonna.
Hey, the only thing is, Fred. Hey, the only thing because I leave tomorrow. I leave Thursday night at like 10 something. So I'm gonna be in the airport.
Oh darn! So you can't do it Thursday night. So we gotta do it Sunday.
Nigga says who? Nigga, I'm gonna get in on this. I get to the hotel at like 12. We ain't gonna be done by then.
12. I'm done.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck.
So we gotta do it Sunday then. All right, let's do it Sunday. Let's do it Sunday then.
Is it gonna have the same luster? Like I don't want to deprive the world of this shit.
You can't do it the way you want to do it, man. You can't do it the way you want to do it. And I don't want to do it without you. So we'll agree to do it Sunday, or we just won't do it at all.
D Ford, man, I told you, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm in Philly all the time. My aunt live out there. I told you, man. Philadelphia is my second home, man. I'm there. I've been to Philly more times than I've been to San Francisco. The only time I go to San Francisco is when I get on the plane to Philly or Vegas.
So you leaving Thursday night? That's dope.
Oh yeah.
So and you leaving Sunday morning? You come back Sunday morning?
Yes, because we had, my wife, man. I felt like the trip was my trip, the way I planned it for her. Mm-hmm. So I had to take a step back. And I had to let her have her birthday weekend. You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to go to the fight. I was trying to go to LA to get with you, Fred. Kick it with you, Fred. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't my goddamn birthday. So let me calm down. You know what I'm saying? Let her have her birthday and shit. But all Friday, me and her for her birthday, we're gonna be all day, and then I'm gonna come back on Sunday.
Okay, so y'all going to weigh in and do all that?
No, you know what? Nah, hey, driver said something, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna look fucked up in this airport. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come.
Oh man, no, it ain't gonna be no fun because you can't use language. Nah.
Why I can't?
Nah, man, you gotta. Nah, you can't do it then. No, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be comfortable, man. That's gonna take some of it away because I need Kyle Davis. I don't need Kyle. I need Kyle Davis. You know what I mean? We need that. So Sunday, hey, if he wins, let's do it. If he loses, it'll be kind of disrespectful if he loses, right? Like it'll be like we're teasing him if we do it Sunday, but if we do it Thursday, it's like fun and it's promoting. So it's your call. So you can text me, call me, do what you want to do, and I'm game. Yeah. I'm game because I can.
Yeah. I just don't want to deprive the community, the barbershop, of such a great idea.
Yeah, it was a great idea. So we'll plan on Sunday night. Sunday night when you beam in, you got to dress like Sean Porter, man. I mean, you can still beam in, obviously, but do something, man. Go buy a Sean Porter t-shirt, put a cap on, put a blazer on with 4 ties. You know what I mean. Put a carpet on you. You know what I mean. Do something. You know what I mean. Do something. You know what I mean. Let's have some fun, man. This is the barbershop. It's a late night show, so we ain't got no rules on the late night show. Ain't no kids watching. So,
shout out to Prez. Hey, Prez. Jafar, shout out to Fred Dollars, man. You know that was my wrestling name. I don't know if you knew that, Fred.
Yeah, Fred Dollars. Oh man, so we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for staying up late, man. It's 3:00 in New York, so I appreciate y'all staying up late, man. Yeah, the show ain't doing nothing but getting better and better. Thank you guys. Thank you, Breadman. Yeah, we having a great week, and we got Lonnie. Kid Dynamite. How do you donate $100? Send it to Kyle Cash App. That'll do it. Send it to Kyle Cash App. Yeah. And we appreciate you, Kid Dynamite. Thank you for supporting. Just kick that money sign. Click that money sign and just hit send right there at the bottom of the comment section. So yeah, man, we appreciate you. Thank you, Kyle. And yeah, it was a good show, man. I appreciate the audience, you know.
Thank you, Fred. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. You know, I gotta give you flowers, man. Listen, I was talking to my boy Cam, right? And you know, we right now, my channel is White Man Can't Jump. You know what I'm saying? We see real Mr. 1700 right now, man. and you know what I mean? And shit, we done since I sat in the seat of co-host, man, my channel, that shit just been flying out the roof, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't even post regular videos on my channel, and the shit's just.
Nah, people want to see who you are. People want to see who you are. You know what I mean? So they'll go over there, and it's just great. It's just great that everybody grows. You know, whether you're in the comment section or, you know, I mean, it's just great. So thank you guys.
Yeah, man. I had to tag you in that shit today, though. 1700.
Congrats. You deserve it, man. You deserve it. You put the work in. You went on a late night. You on a late night. You know what I mean? So you catching the last train to Paris, man. That's what they on when you come on. So
most definitely. In the words of the great philosopher, DB Fredro. Play the song, Fred.
Without a doubt. I'm the young rapper that they talking about. Brent Jones, Cameron, Kid Dynamite. It's cool. D4. It's okay. Just come back. Come back, man. Daily, what's up, man? D, Nate, James. Present y'all 4. Yeah, we need Fred Dollars. What's up, JJ? We gonna have a good time.
Shout out to my boy Jarvis, man.
Hey, they giving out food in your neighborhood, man. I drove by yesterday or today. Yesterday. They're giving out food right there on, 89th or something like that. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I want to do a pancake breakfast, man. I want to do breakfast or something for the community. I've been thinking about that. I want my kids serving food. I want my kids serving the community. You know what I mean? D4, what's up, President? Y'all 4. Ant, thank you, dog. Thank you, Richie Rich.
Hey, Fred.
Be the God.
They say you can't cuss 2 minutes into the show if you want to be monetized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna be monetized because I do a lot of.
Well,
I'm gonna try to figure that out.
Oh, the first 2 minutes, so that's fine. We'll work that out. Well, it doesn't matter because I do the intro anyway, so you don't come on for 2 minutes.
Yeah, my intro. No, I'm saying my intro.
Oh, yeah, you just gotta edit it out. Just edit it out. You know what I mean? Respect my tech, present y'all for. I would appreciate everybody. Hey, the question is, what's up, Gregory X? He fell asleep on us. Peoples Hernandez fell asleep, James. People Hernandez fell asleep. He couldn't. Oh, man, he got some trim at 9 o'clock, man. Couldn't hang. You know what I mean? It's the moment of truth. Sean Porter funeral. God, I wish you could come. That would be so dope, man, that we could have did that show Thursday. But you deserve a vacation, man. Go to Vegas, have a good time. You know what I mean?
I got to get up with Jordan, man. In the words of the great philosopher, A17, I need to meet 2i Earl.
Yeah, Jordan will be in Vegas. Earl is going to Vegas Friday or Saturday. He said he was, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It'll be great.
I need to meet 2i Earl. That's
yeah, that'll be dope. Yeah, man. So
I have pictures with the 3 best welterweights this era right here.
Who's the third?
Jerron Ennis. That motherfucker special, Fred.
I know he is. I saw it. First time I saw him 5 years ago, I was like, whoa, who's that dude? Wow. No lie, no cap. I saw him on Showbox. I was like, wow.
Cause me and you talked about that shit. I was like, yo, this motherfucker.
He knocked that dude stiff. Marianne Moran. Wow. Moran. Moron, I think it was.
I'm looking forward to seeing Gary Russell little brother back in there too.
Yeah, Gary Russell going in 3 years. Keith Thurman going into 3. Gary going into 2. Keith Thurman going into 3 years. God damn, inactivity. Man, love y'all, man. Man, y'all fighters got to fight, man. Fighters got to fight. Thank Breadman 3 hours with us. Wow, that's a long ass time. He putting up a cow. Appreciate y'all, man. See,
hey, he went for a bullshit though, Fred. Hey, hop over when you get a chance. I can tell you, he went for our bullshit, Fred. He read it. He was reading this all night, dog. Most people just feed it to our bullshit. He was like, I ain't fucking with y'all.
You're one funny guy. Love y'all, man. Click the link, man. Go watch 9 Wives, man. Support. That's how you support the channel. Go order 9 Wives, man. Go order 9 Wives. $5.19. Malcolm X's birthday. Love y'all. Peace, Kyle. I'll be on your channel. I'm going to go get my pistachios. Peace.